This is the Great Alaska Hunting Podcast. I'm Dalton Gray.
And I'm Mariah Humphreys.
Broadcasting from our hometown of Fairbanks, Alaska. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Great Alaska Hunting Podcast, everybody. I'm Dalton.
I'm Mo.
And we're joined this week
by Matt Deluca with Alaska Blade Works.
Thanks for joining us today, Matt.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
It's nice to have you here in the office. So, for folks that have listened to our previous episodes here just leading up to this one, we have mentioned that Matt was going to be on today. Actually, at the time of this recording, later on this afternoon, we're putting on the bear baiting class over at Screaming Eagle Archery. So, if you're hearing this and you want to go, you're several weeks late. So you snooze, you lose. But Matt, we're happy to have you up here. You and I have chit-chat a little bit, just texting back and forth, and I think a couple of phone calls. And I was, well, not I, but my wife entered your guys' initial giveaway when ABW went live last year, and we won a knife. And I said, you know, of all the things that I have entered to win in life, this one is actually worth winning. And I didn't even win it. My wife did. And it was, you know, the Instagram tag, you know, 5 friends or something. And then she won one. And then I told her, I said, can you ask them to send you a specific one? Don't just pick one out of there because I want one. And so she texted, and then you were on the other end of it. I didn't know who she was texting, if it was you or Cole. And then you replied, did so-and-so, that's our mutual friend, did so-and-so tell you to pick that one? Right. And I went, okay, that's Matt. So.
Yeah, you were, and I figured you were whispering into her ear in the background. Definitely. But no, that worked out well.
Yeah, I had just got back from guide camp, and then she won that knife, and I got it just in time to finish out a grizzly bear that I shot over bait, and then do all the detail work. We'll get into that later. And then I used it on a couple of brown bears in the fall, and I had another grizzly bear in June that I helped do all the knife work on for somebody else.
So you've got 4 bears under your belt with that blade? Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep. I was hoping to have some deer for it this last fall, but big crocodile tears. We didn't go deer hunting last year, so we're going to fix that this year. But anyway, yeah, so I've got some experience with it. Mo bought a thin horn last year to take sheep hunting.
Nice.
The folks know the dog and pony show that ended up being. Didn't get a sheep, but
I got a cool knife, so
yeah.
So now he has one.
Probably what the lowest percentage of, I guess, harvest is sheep hunt in the state.
Yeah, has to be.
Yeah, by far. So
yeah. But anyway, so we're looking forward to talking to you about this. We've been looking forward to this conversation for a while. So I guess we can get right into it, and you can give the folks a background, maybe a little bit about yourself, and then get into ABW and where it came from and how we got here.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I've been in Alaska it'll be coming up on 22 years here. So I moved up here from the Midwest to hunt and fish. I'm just a hunting addict. Like, it's not casual. I obsess over it. I think about it nonstop all day long. It's insane, and it just continues to get more and more and more. So I just love being in Alaska and in the outdoors. So that's what brought me up here. Alaska Blade Works was found in the Alaska Range on a mountain ridge one September afternoon with one of my good friends, Andrew Urbita, who's one of the other owners. And we just got to talking while we were glassing this drainage, and built ABW out over the course of that hunt. And then Cole was back and forth, so we sat down with him too, longtime friend. And the 3 of us came together, and we're not even a year old yet in terms of the launch to where we're at in present day. So it's been a ton of fun, and just the passion in the outdoor industry, and to be involved with those 2 guys too is just we're a good team, and there's a big diversification of skills. So we bring a lot to the table, and I know the word synergy is overused, but I mean it's a synergistic crew that we have. So yeah,
right on. And it helps that Andrew has experience from that knife world,
100%
pre-existing with half-face blades.
Yeah, with his background in the SEAL teams, being an end user, and then starting half-face blades, under a tarp in his backyard to where it is now. And then Cole's background as a bush pilot and hunting guide, and my background is just being a hardcore hunter and fisherman. Like, and then all three of us, separately had owned our own businesses. So bringing that entrepreneurial background together was a huge asset too.
Yeah, right on. So then, in the initial launch, how many knives did you guys release right off the bat?
In terms of models, everything that's in this case here. So, gosh, I should know that number off the top of my head, but we've got the hatchet, backcountry hatchet, the Brooks range, the Unimax Skinner, the Chugach, the Kodiak Skinner, the Wrangell Ultralight, the Thin Horn, and then this is sitting a 9-6. So what is that? 9 blades right off the bat, and then we followed up with the Kenai fillets right after that.
Right on.
Yep.
Yeah, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess we should probably get into the eye candy of it all and
Sure.
and let people see kind of what we're talking about, and maybe just briefly give a maybe 30 seconds or 1 minute show and tell each model and maybe your guys' thought process behind design and application.
Sure. Yep. Get into the travel case here. Make sure I don't cut myself here. Got to be careful with this guy. Have you guys played with this yet?
I put my
Not
hands
yet.
on it a couple months ago.
Okay.
Down there at
Barney's.
Yep. So the backcountry hatchet. So I think of all the different tools, blades that we design, like trying to find a hatchet that does everything is tough, because have either one of you played with something, a hatchet or an axe that's just too small?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And how effective is that?
Yep.
Not very.
Little to none.
Right. So having enough weight, having enough surface area on your cutting face, and then enough of like a utilitarian design to where you can pound stakes, nails, whatever it is, break something.
Mm-hmm.
Like we wanted to make sure we had enough of an axe head on it to actually do the work, and enough weight and length to actually, when you swing it, there's enough energy transference through the axe itself. And then we recess the handle so that way you don't split the handle when you're going through rounds and things like that, and you can choke up on it to shave fire tinder, things like that.
Sure.
Or if you wanted to skin with it too, you could do that. So weight wise, it's not lightweight, it's not heavy, it's just kind of like right in that middle ground to where when it's on your hip, it's there, but it's not annoying.
Right.
So it's designed to be a workhorse. It's a tool. And we use micarta on the grip.
Yeah.
So get a good grip on it too. But that cutting edge is extremely sharp, so you got to be careful with it.
Right. So quick question then. I'm sure you can see it on the bottom of the handle there in the camera, but what is the design purpose beyond a grip stop at the bottom for this little extension of steel here below the micarta handle?
So the first thing you said is an extension. So if you had like a leather glove on, that's just going to help tie into it. So when you're swinging it and your hands are wet or bloody, you can hold on to it too. And then just in the spirit of, hard use tool, like if you were trying to break through something like ice or pound it into something, this defends against hitting the micarta. Mm-hmm. So you don't break, chip away or break your handle too. So it's just a bumper essentially.
Okay.
Yep.
Right on.
So that just keeps it in your hand so it doesn't go flying in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
What
Want
is
to take a look at it there?
What is its weight exactly?
I don't know off the top of my head. I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure. So I don't.
It's
want
on
to
the
make something
website
up.
though.
Yeah,
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to memorize all the stats of the whole lineup yet,
But you can tell me what the drop is on any given bullet that you have out of any given cartridge.
some of them, yes,
at
depending.
300
Yeah,
yards.
I could tell you what the holdover is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of numbers to remember in the ballistics and weight and backpacking, sheep
Right.
hunting and all that. So,
Right.
But again, just playing with different designs and lengths. Because again, the last thing you want to do is get out there and you pull this, and I've done it before, you pull a hatchet out and you go to use it and you're like, oh, it doesn't work.
Right.
Just doesn't have enough mass behind it. So so that's the backcountry hatchet.
Very interesting. And what kind of steel?
This is 3V, so just a tougher steel, just to take the abuse. Like on my model, not my model, but my personal one. Like I pound on the side of it, and it's just again like I don't baby it. It's we want to have a tough enough steel where you can just lay into it on that side.
Yeah.
If you
Right
wanted
on.
to. All right, I'll pull a couple out here. So we'll go into the Brooks. So the Brooks range, just a bigger blade. I don't like carrying a bigger blade until I have to use a bigger blade, if that makes sense. So like have you ever used a bigger blade on like a moose?
Mm-hmm. Only for the last 3 years-ish.
Where do you guys stand with that?
The reason that I bought a bigger blade is I had a client kill a moose, and I had 2 or 3 medium blades,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't need to tell you how that went. It died on a river bar,
Right.
and the hide was caked in silt, and I had to cape it out for a shoulder mount, and I found myself sharpening knives a whole lot through the night.
Yeah.
So after that trip, I came out and bought like a 4.5 or a 5-inch bladed knife, and the moose I've killed since then have been a breeze.
Yeah, when you start rolling on a moose or a bison or that's where these big blades just they really just stand out. So we wanted to just again have an offering where we had something that was larger. So the bushcraft community, a survival knife, or if you just had to be out in the middle of nowhere for a long time, like you can do a lot with this thing. Thicker steel, you can baton with it, camp chores. And again, like my eyes were open on a moose a couple years ago, and we had a bigger blade, and I was like, holy smokes, you can just haul like through it. So for those of you that are, killing bigger animals, like this is a great one to consider too. Or if you just need a survival knife or something to do a lot of other things other than cut animals, it's a great option too.
Sure. And I noticed that on the back of that handle, it has a similar extension of the steel material there.
So this one and the Chugach are 2 of our more robust blades. So just like the axe, like we wanted to give something where if you were trying to crush or break something, just to defend against. Yeah. So you're not impacting the grip, the scales, and it's just again another like bumper barrier to the handle.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so going from the hatchet and then down to all of the fixed blade knives, well, maybe not all of them, but I guess there's a question more than a statement. I know that most of the hunting and bushcraft knives are S45 steel. Does that carry over to the fillets as well?
Yep. Everything else is everything. So the hatchet is 3B. Everything else is S45.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And we just S45 has just been a great performer for us. It just does everything. It doesn't chip. It doesn't break. I mean, like a tip, like if you're misusing a tip, you're going to break a tip no matter what steel it is. But we've had such good results with S45. That's why we're rolling with it for right now and in the future too. It's such a great steel.
Yeah.
So
excellent.
So yeah, that's the Brooks. And then next guy up is the Unimac Skinner. So like Unimac Island, first thing that comes to mind is big brown bears.
So you say Unimac or Unimac?
What is it? I say Unimac. I heard a bunch of people say Unimac, but I was thinking about that when I was driving yesterday. Like, what is it?
I am probably mispronouncing it because I've always just said Unimac.
It's
probably wrong.
Mo solved this for us.
I think that's the very white way of saying it is Unimac. You know what I mean? That's the white Alaskan specifically. Like we just pronounce things the easiest way it is to pronounce it.
Well, it's like the village formerly called Barrow.
You ever hear somebody call Tanana?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what is it? Unimac or Unimac?
I'm going to say Unimac.
There we go. We have a winner.
That's fine. I know which battles to fight, but so we're going to go Unimac. And I drew the Unimac tomato brown bear tag for next year. So I am out of my mind excited for that. So the Unimac Skinner, guys, is thinner steel than the Brooks, enough of a point to where you can use it not just as a skinner, but get into your animals. I found that like on some, I'm not going to name names, but other brands of knives, you'll see this huge belly. And I'm like, I don't know how you would use that. If you only had that knife, how would you just use that knife? Because you can't get into the animal, into the pad. So enough of a point where you can utilize that to get into the, if we're called, a bear. I used this on a muskox too this last February, but then into a belly for skinning. So this is a pretty awesome knife when it comes to skinning big animals. So the Unimac Skinner.
And so you have not had any issue getting into a starter cut with this blade at all.
Nope.
Yeah, that is kind of a unique thing. So this is a question that Mo and I have gone back and forth on, specifically about the Skinners, because I only have the Wrangle, and when I was in Barney's with Mo, I guess at the time of this publishing, it'll be a couple of months ago, the Kodiak was not there. And I don't think the Unimac was there either. It was just the Brooks, the Chugach, and the Wrangle, and a thin horn maybe. But I wanted to look at the Unimac and the Kodiak because there's something that I don't see on other Skinner knives that I am seeing on these, besides the tip angle, and that is the belly design. So if you look at that, there is almost kind of a slight recession in the profile back down to your parallel angle here to the top of the blade, but it dips up from there. And I don't think I have seen that on many others, if any others, that I've ever even had, let alone just seen on the market. But what is the purpose in having that accentuated belly that even carries over to here? Because normally, like on the other knife that I'm referencing that I bought a few years ago, specifically after we killed that moose and I decided I wanted a bigger knife, that Skinner type of knife comes straight out and then just bellies around and has a long belly on the front of the knife. So maybe go into why this type of profile.
So I'll spin it back to you and ask, you use this part for which part? The starter cuts and entry cuts.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you use this part of the blade for skinning, right? You don't use this part very often, but when you do use it, when do you find yourself using it?
If I have a bear on a beam or on my knee, then I'm actually using the back half of the blade more often than when I'm skinning, for sure. I'm still using the front end on that rounded fleshing
when
motion.
you're fleshing.
But I've found that if I have a nice flat surface to flesh on, especially a down angle beam, then I'm starting on that material at the back and then working all the entire length of the blade. So I would say I probably use the back half of the blade most fleshing.
For fleshing? Yeah. So the thought process too is when you're going to detach something or actually cut something, you generally use this part of the blade and you start to drag it across there.
Right.
So then as you're doing that, you're rolling up into that part of the belly to where it's going to cut generally better.
Okay, so that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Interesting.
When you asked that question there.
Yep, because I find like this isn't just for bears. Like using it on the muskox or when you're detaching things and you go to cut it, as you start the blade there and it starts to drag across that, you generally it's going to cut or detach right when you get to that point.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting. And it's the same idea with the Kodiak Skinner as well.
Yeah. Some of the prototypes too, we actually had this recessed even more. But so, I mean, that's just what we kind of landed on.
Have you found any difference in ease to sharpen with that additional angle there on the back of that belly?
Like as in it's easier, it's harder?
Yes.
No, I mean,
noticed any difference at all?
No, because I mean, if it depends on what sharpening system you're using too.
Usually I have that work sharp flat stone on one side, coarse, fine,
right. The yellow one,
ceramic, and then strop on the top.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm using the DMTs and
we
haven't noticed any issues with it, just doing touch-ups and things like that.
Is the DMT like a rod style?
It's the, so there's the small, like little DMT mini sharp plates. They're like that wide and like that long.
Okay.
And then the other ones that butterfly out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they're just the flat plates.
Yeah.
But those work well too.
They're a lot lighter than the network sharp.
Yeah, they're quite a bit. Yeah, the mini sharp one. So Peter actually turned me onto that, and we carry them now. I mean, they're super. Like the smallest one, I think, is that long.
Oh wow!
You could put that on a belt buckle.
You could if you wanted to. You can put anything on a belt buckle.
I'm making a reference to something else.
Yeah, I'm missing part of it here, but
it's okay.
Yeah, just for small touch-ups, those things are great. But yeah, the work sharp one, like, would you take it sheep hunting?
No.
Yeah.
Right.
That's where that DMT.
I have a little butterfly one that
I have the same thing. I take sheep hunting.
Yeah. So
it's probably a third the weight, if not less.
Right. So yeah, the Unimac, just an awesome skinning blade.
And how long is the blade on the Unimac there?
You can't be asking me all these statistics if we're going to be sitting here. If I know them, I'm just going to tell you guys straight away. I can't remember. We should pull it up on my
I think
on the website.
That one was 5,
I can
wasn't it?
Right here.
It's right around that.
I thought it was 5.
5 or just over.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we were sketching everything out, like, we had all the specs written down, but Cole's my spec guy and he's not with me today, so
yeah.
But yeah, we'll get an answer on that one here in a minute.
Mo is on it.
Yeah, I'm getting there. My sister texted me, so I had to respond to that.
But I use that on the muskox hunt. And just a great skinning knife when you're just
5.5 inches on the Unimac.
Oh, really?
when you're working a big hide.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that thing's accounted for a lot of big brown bears on the peninsula and Kodiak. And
Yeah, I've seen some pictures of some other guys using the Unimac. That's a decision I have to make on which skinner I want to go with.
I mean, did you see the last couple of days, man? There's been some good bears killed down there.
Yeah.
That Kodiak's a pretty sweet one too, because you can do a lot of other stuff with that.
Sure.
With that too,
Sure.
but yeah. So we'll get into my favorite is the Chugach. So this thing just does a little bit of everything. It's I don't want to call it the little brother, but the smaller version of the Brooks, and thicker steel, enough of a blade profile to where you can do pretty much anything with it. Enough of a spine on it to where you can baton with it. And, again, I don't want to tell old stories, but with the caribou, that was just something that happened in the moment. And we had to take the caribou ribs off of the animal where we were at in that unit, and we didn't have our saw that day, and just pounded that right through the back of the ribs and detached.
I remember seeing that in the video and thinking, man, that's some abuse right there.
Yeah, and again, it's like we don't want to. It's a tool, and you don't want to abuse it. But when you have to push it, it's nice to know that it can do it. And I was kind of curious to see how we were going to come out of it that day, and it just ran right through it. But I love this knife.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just the more I use it, the more I love it. And I've got my personal one. I can't wait to see what that thing looks like in 10 years, just because it just gets used so hard. But yeah, that's the Chugach.
Yeah, that one I saw in the Barney's little display there. Everything else was sold out at the time that we were there, except that one, the Wrangell and the Thin Horn, I think, and the Brooks range. But that one,
It's got that little
I really like that Chugach.
Yeah,
it's hard not
little
to
knuckle
like.
smasher on the bottom.
Yeah,
yeah.
We have like this. I don't want to. You dream of certain scenarios where what if I just got put out there, or what if I was just out there, and like that's the knife I'd want to have with me, like on that leather sheath.
Yeah,
I just wore that on my hip all September. It's not lightweight, like it's not a sheep hunting blade.
Sure, but it.
So that knife weighs by itself 6.1.
This
ounces.
is the stats guy for this, guys. What does it weigh?
6.1 ounces without the Kydex.
Yeah,
just over 8 width.
It's just a nice size, man.
Oh, and when you start using it on an animal, and I know I'm biased, obviously, I'm not a salesman, so like I enjoy hunting, and I'm passionate about hunting and gear. But when we designed the prototype, I drew first blood on the prototype on an elk in New Mexico, and when I started running it, I was like, oh wow, this thing is pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's awfully tempting. All right. Well, we won't spend too much time on this one, or else we're going to get stuck here.
Yeah. I know I'm not doing the 30-second thing very well.
That's a 4-inch blade.
Yeah. So a 4-inch on the Chugach.
Thank you, Mo. All right, let's pull the rest of them out here. So yeah, then the next skinner from the size down from the Unimac is the Kodiak. So same profile, just shorter. But what I like about this one is it's not just a bigger overall skinning blade. Like you can do deer, you can do anything with this, honestly.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't take it sheep hunting, but in terms of deer, black bear, moose, elk, I mean, it's just a nice little compact skinner.
And that one is 4 or 4.5, I think, for blade length.
4-inch blade.
4-inch blade, yeah.
Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong. Gotta go click over to
we're
the
struggling
Kodiak
with
there.
the stats.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, 4-inch blade. Okay,
I thought it was,
but it's a lot lighter. It's 3.8 ounces.
Wow.
I mean, there's plenty of guys that would take that sheep hunting, no problem.
Yeah, and the fixed blade thing too. Like, topic for now or topic for later. But I just think in Alaska, we brought this up in another conversation, but by show of hands, I'm sure you guys are the same way. But how many times have you heard or run into a situation where you're in an emergency situation, or somebody's been in an emergency? Like
multiple times,
right.
Personally, yeah.
Right, and when you're in your home packing and like it's 70 something degrees in here, we're warm, we're in t-shirts, and you don't plan for something to go sideways. But when you're out there, you find yourself reaching into your pack to what can I utilize this tent that just blew down on an alpine lake on Kodiak Island? Like, how do we fix this problem here?
Right.
And we're cutting through things, and we're using the little bit of electrical or duct tape that we have, or or with the raft or
Tyvek tape,
right? Yeah. And you got to start cutting through things. You better have a blade that can handle it. Or if you need to pound through something and pick up a rock and smash it through something to break it, like you can do that with these. Where a disposable blade.
Yeah, I've got to the point where I carry a disposable blade knife, even if it's just a couple blades, and a fixed blade knife. And I may never pull out that disposable blade knife, and I might use it on an animal, but it's more, to me, that's also an emergency tool, because that's basically a scalpel.
Right.
And I had to,
I was going to say,
I brought this up multiple times on the show, but I have had to cut my own ingrown toenail out in the Brooks Range.
Yeah.
And once you've done that once, you're never leaving that knife behind again.
No,
a lot of blood, but
Yeah, I don't disagree. Yeah. But it's just all the things, like, it would be great to have a conversation one day just about all the one-offs that have come up. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's so many different things.
Yeah. Man, I have not held the Kodiak before, but man, that's appealing.
Feels nice. Yeah.
That's pretty appealing.
Yeah, I like that one.
And you can see that belly profile is accentuated even a bit more than the Unimac is. But man, that's a very interesting.
Yeah, we just had a guy on the south end of Kodiak drop the 9.5 footer the other day.
Connor.
Yeah. And he used that, and he sent us some really good feedback, and just was really impressed with it. And
yeah,
named it the Kodiak Skinner because, again, what comes to mind is, Kodiak Island, you're doing 9-10 foot brown bears, and then deer, and then sometimes goats, and so that thing's just, it's a great knife to take down there.
I don't see any reason. I mean, for goats especially, it's not usually as long of a hunt. It's not, some guys don't necessarily get quite as nerdy about weight and longevity of being up on the top. So I could definitely, me personally, I would have no problem carrying that thing goat hunting.
Yeah.
But you're right though. Like it's compact enough, and you still have the double jimping there on the forward end, just like the Wrangell. I like being able to do that because if I'm up in the dark cavity trying to get the heart out, I need to know that the tip is
where
half an inch off the front of my index finger, so I can have two hands and I know where the blade is in there, and I really like that jimping on the front end of there. But yeah, you could easily do anything you want to with this knife, and it's almost half the weight of the Chugach.
It's 3.8 ounces.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, well, now I have another problem.
Yep. No, that's another sweet blade.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
And then let's see, that's the Cerakoted version. So we just started Cerakoting some of these too. So a little bit of added protection, but
sure.
So it's just the Kodiak with black Cerakote. So we came out with those, and they sold.
Could you do it with orange Cerakote?
You can do anything. We've got some orange G10 coming out soon.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've
had a black Cerakote knife.
No, we're not going to go Halloween on it right away. I mean, again, the sky is the limit. You can
call it the Mike Myers blade.
You can do anything. But I thought about that. I'm like, orange with black Cerakote would look very Halloweenish.
Yeah.
Or if you were a Cleveland Browns fan, but that's probably not the case. So just the tumbled finish with orange G10. Okay. But some people do like Cerakote, and it's just another option. Aesthetically, it looks great.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm a sucker for Cerakote myself.
Yeah. Which color?
Well, I have an orange Cerakote knife. That's what he's referencing.
Right.
Yeah.
With black handles.
Not going to lose it. Oh, so you did go Halloween.
Yeah.
Perfect.
He went full Mike Myers.
It even has an orange Kydex on it.
Is that the one you're wearing?
Yeah.
Okay, I saw the Kydex. So now getting into my big passion, which is alpine hunting, mountain hunting. So the Wrangell Ultralight.
Yeah. So
thinner steel. You got the jimping on the back, like Dalton referenced, up front and the back here. It's just, we spent like a lot of time on this, just making sure it was just enough to, I was going to come up with the weight here in a second for us.
2.3 ounces.
2.3 ounces.
Without the Kydex. Now, one thing, so when I got my thin horn,
I know where you're going with this.
I took the metal clip off.
Yep.
Because that metal clip weighs about as much as the knife.
Yep.
And so the Kydex by itself weighs almost nothing. And that way I can still have it protected, but I don't really need to clip it. Anything it sits in a little cut kit in my bag. And
yeah, and I'm the same way. Like I don't wear these smaller blades on me. I put them in my pack and I pull them off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I figured that's what you were going to say too, is just to even cut more weight.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, there's some other things we've talked about too to lighten it up even more. But again, like trying to make everybody happy is very difficult.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, just in the spirit of not sacrificing performance, and you've used this blade.
Yeah.
It's our number one seller. This thing is
Is it
just,
really?
oh yeah. It's just great. I mean, you can do the intricate technical work. I mean, it's not as robust as the Chugach or the Brooks or even the other two Skinners, but it just is a great performer and it doesn't weigh very much.
Yeah, I mean, just out of curiosity, through the process, and after I got that knife last year, I used it for almost everything. I mean, starter cuts, skinning, pulling toes, turning the entire face, taking all the head meat off the skull. I mean, I did everything start to finish with that knife a couple of times, and fleshing. Obviously, a little bit longer working area is nicer for fleshing, but it does it. There's the old saying in the knife world, you don't need a big knife to do a big job. You can do a big job with a small blade. And while that is true, like we mentioned before, some animals the back straps on a moose are that thick.
Right.
You're not getting from the surface of the back strap all the way down to the top of the ribs with that blade. It's not even going to reach it. You can finagle it and kind of pull it off of there and, cut a little bit of time and then start rolling it. But if you want something that you can make one cut and just go along and then go underneath and one cut and go along and then just slice it off, you need a little bit longer blade.
Yep.
But you can do everything with that blade. And you can take a 10-foot brown bear start to finish with that blade.
Yep.
And it works fine. But
yeah,
I've really enjoyed using that knife.
Yeah, this thing's great. I mean, I don't hesitate to throw this in the pack either for a sheep hunt.
Yeah.
Like I have zero hesitation. Like it's light enough to where it passes the mental check for the sheep kit.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's an outfitter down on Kodiak and Peninsula. He ordered 17 of these. He got them for every single one of his guides.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So yeah, and to see a reputable individual like that, like, hey, I want that many. I'm like, that's so humbling. And they're down there right now doing work on some of the biggest brown bears in the state. So
good.
But yeah, I mean, it's an awesome blade. So
yeah, I really like that one.
And then where'd you go? I think you might be. Yeah, we haven't even released these yet, but it's the same. It's just the black Cerakote.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, so we'll be dropping a few of these here soon. So that's the first one.
Yeah. Just thinking about the black Cerakote, can you get orange stained micarta?
No, not in micarta. To my knowledge, there's, if I'm wrong here, please don't beat me up on this, but it comes in like a caramelish color, like a brownish, but it's not orange. So that's where the G10 would, very vibrant hunter orange.
Yeah. Is it just going to be straight G10 or is it a G10 / Sure Grip type of infused G10 for some more texturing?
It's just going to be straight G10 right now.
Okay. Are you planning on having the same divots cut into it?
Yeah, the switchback. Yeah, that's what I call a switchback design. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't mind G10. I just like micarta that much more. G10.
I'm definitely with you.
Yeah. I mean,
100%.
Non-textured G10, I think, is a liability.
Yeah.
Textured G10 makes a big difference, but I just think micarta is just.
Yeah.
I mean, when in the state are you ever dry? Even when it's sunny out, you're still not.
And inevitably, it is a knife. You will have blood on it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's just where I like that micarta.
Yeah. And especially, big greasy bears. And
I know.
They're all oily and everything's just getting slick.
Yeah.
And if it's cold and wet and rainy, well, we talked about this several episodes ago. We talked about, do you wear gloves when you're skinning a bear? And if I'm wearing gloves at all, it's the single layer orange uninsulated rubber fishing gloves. And that's only if the bear is nasty, like if it took a dump and then rolled in it after I shot it, which happened last year. Shot one of them, walked up to it, or the one that your dad shot in October. The last two shots as it was running towards the brush, because that's how that goes.
Right. Yep.
It took a somersault. It was whop, whop. And the last two bullets hit at the same time. And it did a front somersault into the salmon stream. And I walked up to it. Well, ran up to it, looking for it in the brush, and realized there was a 10-yard wide stream about this deep, littered with rotten fish. And this thing is just laying upside down, face in the water, just taking its last breath. I'm like, okay, well, it's dead. And then I realized, yuck. Just the water just stunk. But yeah, the whole thing was just covered in it. So I wore gloves on that.
Yeah.
Just gross. But, for something like that, you're always dealing with a wet hide or wet this or wet that, or if it's raining. But if I have gloves on and my gloves are getting greasy from all the fat, especially fall bears, they're so greasy. I have had a couple of different times where I've been using G10 knives, and they're fine when they're dry. They're totally fine when they're dry. But you get that rubber glove covered in grease and oil, and then the handle gets covered in it, and it eventually just kind of gets a little bit too slippery.
Yeah.
You get some hair that gets mixed in there too.
Yeah. They get super slick.
Yeah. That wrangle with the micarta handle, I have not had that issue with. But
yeah, no, I love that too. And like we've talked about before, you can micarta, when it dries out, it gets lighter. When it gets wet, it gets darker.
Yeah.
When if you cut, I'm sure by the end of the year, yours will start taking on a little bit of a different color.
Oh, yeah.
But I like it just because it's like an old wooden stock on a guide gun.
Right.
You don't want to refurbish it. Like every single nick.
Yeah.
And imperfection on that tells such a cool story through the time. And same thing with these. So
yeah.
And then we've got the thin horn. So a lot of thought went into this in terms of a sheep goat alpine knife, where I always think okay, at the most technical point, we have to get the hide, the cape off, and do that technical work around the horns. So enough of a fine point where you can do that.
Yeah.
With this.
I think it's tiny.
Yeah, but then I also wanted to be able to do the whole animal with it too. So just like, when we made our prototype, Peter's ram, and then a few other rams, and then, my sheep this last year too. Like you can do a whole sheep with it, no problem. And it's, again, a fixed blade in the backcountry, check that box, a lightweight knife, and then enough of, not enough, but the correct profile designed to where you can do everything that you need to do. So that's the thin horn in the most compact package that we could make it.
Let me see what that's like with a real handle on it.
And then we do offer that too in a paracord wrap.
Yeah. Well, you were offered the paracord before you offered it with a handle.
And I personally like the paracord on that one. That would be the only knife that I prefer paracord. But that feels, I think, in the hand, the micarta feels better.
It definitely does. Well, that's what I think I ordered mine with the paracord, and then you released this one, and I was like,
options,
really? But
I have some Allen wrenches. We can just pop the scales off.
And that's the whole thing is that's why we did that, is we're just going to offer it with this going forward, because you can just pull it off and wrap it yourself.
Right.
Sure.
So
go ahead.
I have a sheep. He actually had the idea to do this. I have a little, probably a use horn that I picked up on the mountain.
Right.
And I was going to have somebody I know makes knives.
Yeah.
Make me up some scales for it.
Cool.
With that.
Yeah, I mean, you can go a lot of different directions, but yeah, no, I mean, it's everybody has their own personal taste to it. Like, again, the Halloween edition, right? But wrapping it, it does make it a little bit lighter. So that's why I like that for my thin horn.
Sure.
And then we do offer these in a Cerakote too. So
right on.
Yeah.
I think if you go with a Halloween edition knife, I mean, this has been kind of stuck in my head here. If you do orange G10 scales and then a black Cerakote handle, you need to have a little Cerakoted orange pumpkin on the side of it, right next to the ABW.
No, that's taking it way too far.
Either a pumpkin or the head of Charlie Brown.
There you go.
The great pumpkin head.
Yep.
That would be funny.
Yep.
You do that and I'll buy one.
That's how we get, that's the decision making to purchase. And then on the Wrangell Ultralight and then the thin horn, we use the Ulti clips. So these are just a lightweight clip that lock in super tight.
Yeah. I left the metal clip on my Wrangell because when I get to skinning a bear, or really anything else for that matter, but especially bear hunting, we'll use, for instance, October with that trip to the peninsula.
Right.
I took that Wrangell and I just clipped that Ulti clip onto my wader's belt horizontally through one of my belt loops. So that way it's on the outside. It's not underneath my raincoat necessarily. I can have it there because I don't leave a knife on the carcass if I stop to go, take a leak or go get some water or something. I don't leave my knife on the bear hide or on the carcass. I like having that sheath handy in a nice, easy spot on my person. So I like that that's fast and easy, and that clip does not come off. They're extremely tough. But yeah, that's something that I like about it. Take the knife out of the pack lid, clip it in my belt loop,
right,
and then it's just there until I'm done scanning.
Well, that's what's nice about that with that clip is they're just so versatile.
Yeah.
And you can pull this off too and turn it and attach it in different spots.
Yeah.
So however you wanted to carry it.
Yeah.
But yeah, once you put it on there, like it's not coming off.
Yeah.
So just
Or
then, go ahead.
Someone from the Midwest would say that ain't going nowhere.
But it weighs in like an ounce and a half.
Going. Yeah, there's no free lunches, right? Like for something that's gonna.
Well, when you're bear hunting, it's a totally different story.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, the sheep hunting thing, I'm sure we'll get into that today, but yeah, in terms of cut and weight, like rip the Alti clip off too, and there's thinner kydex. So you could
save another half an ounce.
You can take it down even more, but again, we got somebody who wants to put a pumpkin on a knife. We got you can go a lot of different directions here in a hurry. And then the leather sheath too, which I actually like this just for.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, when I'm like this, that's like kind of my September setup. Like that's the only time I'll actually wear a blade on me.
Yeah.
But I just like having just a leather sheath and just fits well, and you can run it either way too. So, and we've got it in the bigger size if you wanted to run the Unimac. It's going to take me a minute to retrain my brain to say that. And then, or the Brooks too. The smaller knives will fit in here, but it just kind of looks a little weird just because of the, your hand will be sticking out. So yeah, some leather options, and we got
let me see that one. Yeah.
Got the ABW logo on there, which is neat.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And that's nice and stout leather too, It's not and
it's not just held together with metal rivets that are going to dull your knife blade every time.
Yeah, that'd be a big problem. I went to cut my animal and there was no edge on your blade.
Yeah, that's kind of nice actually. That has nice retention in there too.
And I like your belt loop there.
Yeah,
can go either way.
Right. Yeah, you don't see that a lot. Both ways option. Interesting. It's very well made.
Yeah, it's good. It's good leather. Good stuff. It's not. Yeah.
Do you know what the leather is?
No, not off the top. No, I don't know. You guys with this question. I should just start with that.
You just call it like Siberian yak leather.
It's Korean buffalo. No, it's not.
Spotted owl.
Yeah.
Mixed in there with it too.
Made with only Alaskan moose.
Right.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Or wood bison.
Yeah.
Bison or bison.
Bison.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's here's on the quirky side of things, Unimac or Unimac, whatever. Bison or bison.
You're either Canadian or free.
Yeah. Right. If you say woof, just walk away from me. Do you say woof?
I try not to.
Gosh.
I used to give him
Where's the L go? Is it a silent L?
Yeah.
It was never a thought, really. It's I may as well just throw my dad
I
under
might
the
not
bus.
know all the stats, but I'm not saying woof.
Exactly.
I may as well just throw my dad under the bus. He says it. He pronounces it that way, and that's kind of so. I just never really thought about it.
His dad's a trapper, and to this day,
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
So he's a
to this
credentialed man, and he's saying woof.
To this day, he'll be like, "Oh yeah, the wolf pack ran through the valley," and he's like, "The wolf pack." It's such an easy.
Oh, we've
thing.
had people write in and give me a hard time about it too.
Yeah. Wolf. Wolves.
But to me, like, and this is like when my wife and I got married, and because she's his younger sister, she said wolf one day, and I said, "It's not woof, it's wolf." Wolf.
Yeah, and see, I always knew it, but never thought about it when I said it.
And then I heard her later on. She said golf course. Like she was mispronouncing the OL in there too, and I it's some kind of learned behavior from their family.
Golf versus golf.
So now she says golf, and it's almost over enunciated like golf, like an East course. Yeah. Go over to
golf course.
Yeah. Go over to the golf course. Golf.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely wolf.
Yeah, I had a guy there. He's like, "Yeah, there's a werewolf." I'm like,
Where's the wolf?
I'm walking away from this guy. So
your IQ just took a hit.
Yeah, I'm like, oh boy, I struggle to speak English as it is, and now you're gonna say wolf. So the 6-inch Sitna, so stiffer butcher, stiffer fillet, and the one thing we haven't talked about in the knife world, everybody wants to see something different, and even more so with fillets. So it's tough to try to find that sweet spot. With my background as a fisherman, like I know what works well with halibut and salmon and rockfish. So I don't like the same knife on either one, on all those species. Like a stiffer knife is I like for rockfish, but then with halibut, like you can't run a stiffer knife. If there's somebody out there, which there always is, I'd like to see him run a stiffer blade. But with your flex cuts, in running across those ribs, you just need something that'll bend with it and go. So, but then when you're deboning an animal too, like we have a guy who's a hardcore goat hunter, that's what he takes goat hunting.
What?
Yeah. That's his choice.
I guess.
Talk about creating an emergency in the background.
Right.
Could you imagine doing the ears like this?
Yeah, that's a little bit longer to get super technical with it, but
I mean, that's a very nice, and it's got just a tiny bit of flex, but it is pretty stiff.
It's stiffer.
You'd have to really reef on that thing to get it to bend.
But
I could see for it, processing and deboning.
Great for processing.
Butchering in the garage on your table, and goes from the bone into the grinder, and this would be awesome for that.
Yeah, that's what I find myself using when we're breaking animals down. Is that?
And this one is called
this is sitting a butcher fillet.
So you're sitting a fillet.
That's 6.
Okay, and then is there a 9 version of this as well?
That's right there. Yep, and here's the 9-inch.
So it's the same stiffness, but just add 3 inches to the blade.
Yep.
Wow, that's the Mac Daddy right there.
Yep. Some guys like a stiffer blade.
So that's the one you need orange and black right there.
Right. Yeah. So there's that one.
Interesting.
But then what I prefer, and this actually took quite a bit of time just to get this steel perfect. Do you guys fillet halibut? No.
I have a few times, but not a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's been mostly rockfish for us.
Yeah, so that's the...
Man,
that's the 9. I love a 9 for halibut.
Wow.
And that's the 6 for... Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of the captains I used to work with, some would run 9 and others would run a shorter blade, but I found like on the bigger fish, like there's no way I could run a smaller blade on a bigger halibut and get through that fillet. So like I'm just 9 all day.
Yeah. So I think I don't do a lot of fishing. I do more fishing while deer hunting than probably any other time of the year. And so if I was going to pick a knife out for that, it would probably be something like this, just because it's small, it's light, it's got a little bit of flex to it.
Yeah.
And then if I can afford to go halibut
it's big
hunting,
enough for
then I would
rockfish.
afford to buy a second knife.
Right.
Yeah.
What were you saying wow about?
This is the
Kenai. Kenai's,
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm just shocked at how thin you guys were able to get that. I mean, that thing is extremely thin.
Yeah, from
a
the
lot of flex.
From the back of the house perspective, to get that steel thin enough to where it would perform that way actually took quite a bit of work.
I can't even imagine. But, you have this nice little stop here at the index. You're not going to slip forward on it. And yeah, that's really neat. I haven't seen the fillet knives before this, but I could definitely see getting the 6-inch Kenai for the kind of fishing that Mo and I do, generally speaking. It's mostly just killing rockfish when the deer hunting is bad, or when we're starting to fill up on deer and we still have a few days to go. We'll go drop on a hole and
or even the Susitna, because then it's a butcher knife too.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
But for that case, I didn't get to see this one. I want to see the 6-inch Kenai. So I wouldn't have any issues at all butchering with this one.
No, you just got to be
deboning.
Yeah, just again,
it's not like I'm digging into the knuckles of anything.
Just know the limitations of
that.
How thin that steel is, and don't get in there and take a hard left or right on it.
Yeah,
but it would work great for that too.
Yeah,
but we offer these in the tumbled finisher Cerakote, so I'm pretty proud of these, just because again, like as sitting there playing with flex, it's one of those things when you get it right, like okay, we got it. And if it's not right, like, hey, we got to keep working at it.
Right.
And
so how many did you break off or bend in the process?
Broke 2. in the same day.
Mm.
But and here's the thing, it still has its limitations.
Oh, sure.
Right, but
Yeah.
when you go to lay into that fillet and you get that thing bent, it's like that last third. It's like that's the sweet spot. And then if you're gonna push it too much harder than that, like, well, the metal can only go so far before it doesn't like it. But yeah, I can't wait to run this thing through 100 halibut this summer.
Yeah. And so was that flex process achieved through more heat treatment cycles or tempering, or how do you achieve that?
So when you look at that versus that, so plates of steel, they come in one width.
Sure.
So how do you get it to go from that width down to that width? So the process of doing that is not easy.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm sure if you put a
micrometer or something,
I mean, you could see what the difference is. But that's the part where maintaining the integrity of it, but then getting it to do what you want it to do. That's where the challenge becomes a little bit more of an issue. So
that's very cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the current lineup. And we've got a tactical blade, the Guardian, that's out in the field getting field tested right now with some SWAT guys and some other 3-letter agencies, and they're running it, and
they could be pretty busy right about now.
Yeah, it's actually getting quite a bit of use, which not in terms of like being taken on the job, not used on the job, but so yeah, we're gonna let those guys run that and get feedback on it, and then we'll see where we want to go with that.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
I guarantee they want the pumpkin version.
We got a big advocacy going for the pumpkin blade here today.
If you want the pumpkin version, you can find their contact information at alaskabladeworks.com.
There you go.
And get a hold of Matt.
Yeah.
We'll get at least 2 or 3 guys to get in and do that. Yeah.
If we can get like 100 of them.
Oh, that, yeah. Oh.
Right.
I was listening to a podcast just the other day, and there was some guys from an optics, from a bullet manufacturer that were saying, we never made, factory loaded ammo in XYZ cartridge. And we had another podcaster who is sponsored by our company. I'm not going to name who it is, but you can figure it out. This is pretty recent. And this podcaster said, I want factory ammo from you guys in this cartridge. So he told all of his listeners, handwrite some letters to the manufacturer.
Oh.
And they got hundreds and hundreds of letters. And so they said, okay, we're going to do it. And now I see it in Sportsman's semi-regularly.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys really want it,
just petition for it.
Yeah,
people.
let's give the people what they want.
Is this the...
That's a Cerakoted Chugach.
Yeah.
So the whole idea here was, I mean, between the three of us, I'm sure we've covered most of the state at one point, not all of it hunting, where there's something here where you can grab and go and accomplish whatever it is you're doing, from Unimac Island to the north side of the Brooks, all the way out west, southeast. Like there's something here that you can put to work.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just from a hunting perspective, which is our, admittedly, that's our primary focus anyway. The fishing thing hasn't always been our focus. Every 4th of July, we'll go on a family camping trip and rip up a few grayling or some Lakers, whatever. Maybe.
Yeah.
If we decide.
In the interior.
It's hard to get out of the lawn chair.
Yeah. I mean, last year I brought a Jim Corbett book, and, the wives and the kids were like, well, we're going to go to the lake. And we're like, okay, see ya. So it's going to be quiet, and we have some, some book time. But, every once in a while we'll do some fishing there. But a couple of years ago, I got a buddy in town that he's got a couple of boats. And so we have a trip planned. We're going to go, shoot a little footage with him in the summer and go rip up some fish, maybe find some halibut. But that's a colloquial local terminology there. But, for the most part, Mo and I really do the majority of any fishing that we've done in the last 4 or 5 years has been coincided with deer hunting.
Right.
And that's mostly rockfish of assorted kinds. But We have not struck the halibut yet. We keep getting told by the locals, well,
But
you know, go fish this flat or go fish this flat. Sometimes they'll
run
be
all
up
the
there
way
this
around the
time
other
of year.
side of the island. You know,
Yeah.
go take a day to go look.
And we have a 16-foot Lund with a 40 horse.
Right. And we're still deer hunting.
The problem is that time of day too. Your daylight's so limited that it's you get this idea in your head that you're going to go do all these things, and it's like, well, it's 4:00. We've got to start wrapping this up.
Oh yeah. Well, but by 4:00, I'm getting out the headlamp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we'll fish in the dark, like get close to camp after deer season. Well, after shooting light and everything's over and fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's something here that everything, you know, somebody, whether you want a big blade, a small blade, heavy duty, hardcore, lightweight, minimalist, like from an initial offering, we've got you covered here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to just gravitate towards a do-all, but I mean, I look at how many knives I have right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have a stuff sack, like a medium event sack that just became my dumping place for all my knives, and it's full.
Yeah.
And there's so many in there that I just haven't used in the last number of years because I bought it thinking it was for this application. It just didn't work right. Or the steel was this. And yes, any knife can work. It can cut. But over time, you kind of get used to, and then you get your first nice knife with nice steel, and then you blow through an animal, and wow, that's the difference.
Right.
And when I got that Wrangle, it is kind of that do all, you know, it can do everything from small to big, but I would kind of like to go with some kind of a Skinner option. But then again, it's hard not to like the Chugach. So I have a hard decision to make here, I guess.
Yeah. No, I mean, different options, right?
Yeah. But that is impressive that when you guys launched, and that's something else too. I mean, how many companies come out with something and they say, we're going to launch on this day, and then you look at their website that day and it's one product and there's 6 or 7 other SKUs that are said coming soon, and then 6 months later they're still coming soon. I mean, if you're going to do it, just put all the thought into it and do it all. You know, just get it all out there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, when we pulled the curtain back, I mean, everything except the key knife fillets and the Guardian, you know, was live that day.
Yeah.
And that was after a year and a half of testing too. Like we made the prototypes and put them in the field. We gave them to people that wouldn't be biased either, because obviously when you're making it, you think it's going to be the greatest thing in the world. So it's like, hey, we trust you enough, but go run this and give us an honest opinion.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we shot a 10-foot, 4 brown bear. Well, how'd it work? It was great. Like, awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. And it died in the sand. Oh, perfect.
Yeah, right. So, but yeah, it's a lot went into it, and I know people don't really want to hear that side, but running a business, like the administrative side, the logistics, getting all that in place, getting to make sure everything from the production side is synced correctly, like, that's a ton of work. But again, all three of us have that background, so when we sat down, it wasn't hard to figure out.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah, it definitely has kind of that feel good aspect too. That's a couple of guys that are from up here and that live here and that hunt and fish and recreate here, and this is a lifestyle thing. This is not just someone. How do I say this without being too mean? But this isn't some private equity organization that is launching from somewhere else in the lower 48 or even overseas that's just marketing towards Alaska. This is local guys. This is the design feature. This is the idea. This is for us because we selfishly want this hole to be filled. Not that you can't do everything you want to up here with other knives. That's impossible to say. It's just like the gun world at that point.
Right.
There is no perfect of anything, but there is kind of a nice aspect knowing that the company is at least owned and based here.
Right.
It started
and the knives
here.
are competitively priced as well.
Yeah.
They're not, you're not, the Wrangle's not $500.
Yeah.
No, and that was what we wanted to do. Like, obviously, we have to run a smart business, but put them within reach. For people.
Oh, right. Well, that's the problem with a lot of Alaska businesses is, because it's made here, you got to pay more.
Well, I mean, and that's
to some extent, yeah, but it can't be 50% more.
Right. Well, and we struggled with that. I mean, could we make everything in house up here? Yeah, we have the capability. We could literally probably be up and running in that respect in a short amount of time. But when we ran the costs on it, we're like, if it's the same blade, it's the same owners, it's the same everything. It's just made in Alaska versus in the lower 48. Is that worth another $200? that you want to pay as a consumer.
Absolutely not.
So yeah, so I mean, we can pull that trigger whenever we want to, but again, bringing a competitively priced product to market is the most important thing.
Absolutely.
All American made.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Well,
I appreciate it. I think that kind of covers the knives. If that's all we have for that section, then we'll probably take a short break here. I'm going to go turn the air system on because it's a bit warm in here.
Sounds good.
And we're back. Well, now that we kind of covered all the products that you guys have here at ABW, now we get to, I mean, that wasn't not fun, but now we get into the story hour,
right?
Which is kind of our favorite.
Did we want to talk about steel a little bit?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and touch on that just real briefly. We'll kind of let you dictate where you want to go with that, but maybe just talk about the choice for S45 advantages, maybe disadvantages comparative to other things, and why you guys went with S45.
I mean, I guess we kind of roughly touched on it earlier, but the easy decision is it's just an all-around performer. You know, edge retention, durability, corrosion resistance. Like, you have to take all that into consideration. Otherwise, you're gonna sell yourself short at some point. I mean, there's some other good steels out there, but one time in my life I kind of nerded out on steel and started playing with stuff, and I went too far in the edge of like, I want the sharpest thing possible. Well, that particular steel was actually pretty brittle, so I ended up breaking it quite a bit. So just finding something that does everything very well, and that's why we chose to go with S45VN. So we're actually testing out another one right now, but I mean, the way that's performed, I mean, it's going to be a hard conversation to get us to go in a different direction. It just does so well.
Yeah, it does.
And yeah, it just performs so well. So, and you can, it's not the easiest to sharpen, but it's also not the hardest to sharpen. Like, you don't have to be, you know, having sharpened knives for 20 years to be good with it. Like, and just in terms of like the devices that you guys are both using in the field, like just a couple passes on that'll take it right back to where when you're working an animal, like, oh wow, there you go. But when you're talking factory sharp, like, that's a whole different conversation.
I mean, I started out carrying that butterfly sharpener, you know, when I first started hunting up here as a teenager, and then I bought a work sharpener, and I realized that I had been sharpening at the wrong bevel angle for quite a while.
Right.
And those work sharps are usually at a 20-degree angle. And I have not had a knife since then, including the Wrangle, that does not sharpen up wickedly sharp on that 20-degree fine angle. I don't think I have ever had to use the coarse stone on that work sharp. I pretty much just throw that thing away and just save the weight. But that little fine stone, you know, if I'm doing it, if the knife is what I would call dull, it's not really dull, it'll still cut you. But if I want it super, super sharp again, I'll go, and people differ, but I'll go 10 on one side, 10 on the other side, 7, 7, 5, 5, 3, 3, and then 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then go to the ceramic 4 or 5 times each side, and then strop it once or twice each side. And that thing is wicked sharp after that. Wicked sharp. Doesn't matter how dull it is.
Diamond.
Doesn't matter how dull it was. That process for me always works.
Well, and then again, like, that's, you found what works for you, and that's what matters. I mean, one thing I've learned in this, coming from more of the end user hunter background / entrepreneur, like, the knife world is insane. Like, a very passionate group of people. There's collectors, there's users, there's people that shop on price point, there's people that want something completely custom that nobody else can have. So I mean, it's a huge crowd, which is awesome. But there's a lot of passionate opinions that fly around, and even when sharpening, like, again, I think most hunters, and it's a generalization, but I mean, most hunters just need to know the basics just to get the knife back in the field. Factory sharp versus field sharp. You know, are we being unsafe by using a dull knife versus, hey, like, just get a decent edge on it? You're laughing because
I'm laughing because I heard a comedy bit on a sharper knife is more, or a duller knife is more dangerous. Anyway, it was a comedy bit about, you know, the samurai and Anyway, total distraction there. But.
No, you're good. But just having enough of a knowledge base to just be able to put an edge on it to work your animal. And then the amount of sharpening tools that exist. I mean, from $40 to $1,500. I mean, you can go so far into the weeds with this. I lost what I was thinking. You messed me up here.
Now you're looking for the punchline. Like, what could he be talking about with the samurai?
Yeah. But yeah, the sharpening aspect of it too. I mean, I take personal issue with, it's a compliment to say, hey, I did 4 animals with this knife before it needed to be sharpened. It's like, well, did you sharpen it after the first animal? Like, are we going to shoot the gun until the barrel blows out? And then we say, okay, we need to, like, it's a tool, maintain it,
right.
Utilize it correctly, and just get it ready for each. And I think a lot of people say that just because they're intimidated to sharpen a blade.
Yeah.
They think they're going to harm the steel or do something wrong to it. And it's like, it's metal. I mean, you can always bring it back a little bit if you mess it up. So don't be afraid to sharpen it.
Yeah.
I was in guide camp as a packer the one year I went, and I got dropped off. A few of us got dropped off on a gravel bar a few days early, waiting for hunters to come in. Just logistics of getting everybody out. And so I and a couple of guides were camping in our own little spots in the trees down by the creek. And I had my tent set up and my tarp set up and a book and food and just sitting there sharpening my knife. I had a nice warm day to myself. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there sharpening my knife, just making sure it's all ready to go. And one of the guides walks by and he goes, "Oh, you're sharpening your knife, huh?" Yeah. He goes, I said, "What kind of knife do you carry?" And he goes, "I just carry a, I just carry a Havlon, man. I could never figure out how to sharpen a knife." And this guy hunts literally all over the world.
Yeah.
Paid guide, makes money year round guiding.
Yeah. In 10 minutes, you could probably have him, if he's at a knowledge base of 0, you could probably have him up to a 5 in 10 minutes.
It's like, I just thought that was the funniest thing.
Yeah.
I kind of really got upset about using Havalons after a little while, especially doing brown bears. Like once I started guiding brown bears, I guess about 7 years ago, I used a Havalon for detail work, toes, eyes, ears, all that thing, and it works fine. Mm-hmm. But I nicked some holes in some lips over the years. And that's, part of getting better. And obviously now if I did it with a Havalon, I wouldn't do that. But I don't know. There is some forgiveness to be had with a fixed blade knife doing detailed work that you don't have with a scalpel.
Right.
And that the window of edge quality is so small.
Yeah.
It doesn't last.
No.
And once it's dull, and there are other guides that I know that they use a Havalon for all the detail work, and they're trying to be frugal, so they're sharpening Havalon blades.
Oh man.
Oh, yeah.
It's borderline impossible.
Yeah.
I've tried it. This steel is just no good. It's good for the first 5-10 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
But even for like doing toes, I tried like the I forget what number index they were. It's like 60D or something with the rounded toe on the Havalon blades. And they are better for getting in there and digging the last joint out of the toe, but I don't know. I haven't used a Havalon in a couple years now, and like I said, as soon as I got that wrangle, I did all the detail work, everything with the wrangle, and if because that's just using that last half an inch of the blade point there, and so after 2 feet off the bear, pulling two sets of toes out, I'll just make a few passes just on the toe, retouch it up, go back in there and do it all again.
Yeah.
And it works great for that.
Yeah.
But
well, as you guys know too, like it even with S45 being a higher end steel, if you shoot a deer and you go to ring it around, the rear leg and you cut into the hair, you're already going to take your edge down by quite a bit there, and then you're nick and bone.
Yeah.
Like you can take the edge off in a hurry just by being excited and reckless, tastefully reckless, I'll call it, not like intentional. You're just excited and you're just doing things, and then all of a sudden, like, oh no, that I didn't, that wasn't good. So you just pull your DMT out or your work sharp, and you're good. You're right back into it.
I do not do the whole ring around thing. I'm an under the hide kind of guy.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. I used to, but
even on like a deer leg, I'll make the cut. If this is that last knee joint, I'll make the straight cut and then use that and come up underneath and ring it from the underside. It takes another 30 seconds or a minute, but
your edge is that much better.
The edge is still there.
Yeah.
I'm keeping that.
I used to use like a Gerber or a case or
old timer, Swiss Army.
Yeah, whatever. Name the knife brand you're going to walk into the store and buy off the shelf for $30. And well, how have you ever skinned a moose with a Gerber, the $30 Gerber?
No.
I have skinned several.
Well, how did this go
Skinned
for you?
and cut up, and well,
I have a feeling he's about to tell us.
Yep.
I mean, you can do it,
Yeah.
but and actually, that Gerber was much nicer than whatever I was using before. I don't remember, but that was like the nice knife for me at that point, and it had a nice big sweeping blade on it and everything, and a gut hook that I really liked and all this kind of stuff. And I used that on a couple of moose, and thought it was the greatest thing in the world until I finally bought. I don't know. I think honestly it was the knives that we were working with and that was just an S35.
Yeah.
Right. And it was night and day.
Yeah.
Right. And then I got.
And then you go up in tier from there.
And then you go up in tier from there. You know, you get into Magna Cut and S45, and now you're really like, now you've got something that's going to hold an edge. And,
Right.
Yeah.
And it's easy to sharpen. And then you actually end up with a good sharpener, not just a steel rod.
Right.
And it was just like, okay, now I get it.
Yeah. Well, even too, like on the Wrangle, like steel thickness.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like we've had one of the outfitters like, hey, it's too sharp.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like, well, you can always get it duller.
Yeah.
Like, just don't take it back up that high.
Right.
To be that sharp.
Yeah.
Because I mean that thinner steel, like it gets super sharp.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean that's where like on the Brooks, it's thicker, but still having that proper edge. Like that makes a big difference. But yeah, to your point, like when you were telling that story, growing up as a kid, okay, I can afford a $50 pair of boots and then a $100 pair of boots. I remember my first pair of Loas. I was like, what have I been missing? And it's similar to that. Like, when you get into something that's just upper echelon, it's like, oh, wow.
Okay, yeah, because before then you just make fun. Well, I paid $50 for these,
Right.
and somebody paid $400 for those. I'm saving money. Joke's on them.
Yeah.
That's what you think.
Yeah.
That's the way it felt. I mean, I used the Havalon. I used, what was the other one we used to use?
Outdoor Edge.
Outdoor Edge, right? And then Outdoor Edge came out with the 5-inch blades for it, and that was just amazing for butchering, right? And so I at that point, I wouldn't, at that point, I was like, why would I even hardly bother? Like I would break that Gerber out, use it until it got dull, throw it in the bag, and then use an Outdoor Edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until it got dull. Yeah.
And
then it's like a disposable weight that you have to just,
Right.
it's done. I can't do
Exactly.
anything
because
with it.
it's too much effort to put an edge back on it.
There's a couple of guys that you and I know that don't want to sharpen a fixed blade, but they like a fixed blade, but they don't like replaceable blades. So they'll buy the $30 or $50 value pack of fixed blade outdoor edges
Right.
with the big rubber orange handles.
Oh, really?
Use them, throw them away, and then go buy another set of them.
Well, and I'm sure this is a segue into another topic, but
At
just
some point, you could really afford to buy a nicer knife.
exactly. Well, you're just throwing money away.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, when we talk about hunting anywhere, taking an animal's life and it's such a sacred thing that we're doing. And it's not to be like, we should apply ourselves to the highest level of knowledge and skill that we have. And we should always be striving to be better.
Yeah.
And especially in this state, like woodsmanship, knowing when to stay, knowing when to go, like how to read tides, how to read weather, your gear, like everything has to be so intentional here. And it's precision rifle work.
Yeah.
Like, we'll get into the ballistics, but knowing how to read your barrel, when to clean it, when to let it go, the mood of it. Like it's the same thing with your tools. Like you have to have an intimate relationship with it to get everything to perform at the highest level.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And if you're not at that level, that's fine. Like we all started somewhere, but that continuing education is very important.
Right. And there is the heritage aspect of it too. I mean, we haven't even mentioned that yet, but I mean, I guess I could die one day, and if I end up with children, I guess my kids would inherit my Havalons, but they're not going to care about those things.
It's the broken blade that Dad shot a sheep with 30 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. but what they are going to get, and what they are going to say, oh yeah, that's my dad's old knife.
Right.
What were the hand-me-down things from my dad that I got?
Right.
Yep.
It was fixed blade knives or an old timer that his dad gave him. It was something that was built to last and then carry on, or a rifle, that those things last. Nobody's handing down replaceable blades or $50.
At a minimum, that's a $300 knife.
Right.
Yeah.
There's at least,
Well, we talked about it before too, like, that shoe gatch that I have. Like, I just, to see that, I look at it and I'm like, we've done some stuff together. And like, that's a relationship with that blade.
Yeah.
And I lent out my thin horn right now that I killed my sheep with. And I'm like, buddy, please go use it. But I'm like, this knife is very important to me. So like, bring it back. And that's the relationship with it. Like, I'm letting you borrow it, but I'm concerned.
Yeah.
'Cause, you know,
Right.
yeah. And you just build that, you know, the history up with it. And if you go through a hard time with it, or, you know, moods of your life, like, the blade should be there with you through it all.
Yeah. Well, it's like earlier we were talking about rifles and guide rifles, and I have kind of an affinity for the one that I like to use guiding, and it means something to me. That's the rifle I started guiding with, and I've kind of grown with that rifle to where I am now, and I want to continue to grow. Now, it's not that I don't want another gun, but there is always going to be that special thing. And Mo and I were talking about it yesterday because I just had to put a new piece of glass on it. Well, I guess have to is a hard word.
Right.
But I wanted to. But I was talking to him about it. You were over here for something else. And I said, you know, if something happened in my life, and heaven forbid, I had to get rid of every gun I own, handgun, rifle, shotgun, you know, lever action, everything, this would be the last one.
Yep.
And I would go bankrupt and go live on the street, but I would still have my 375 Ruger.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
That would be the one.
Yeah.
And there's those things that you have.
Well, yeah, and that gun's it's not just a gun like for you, it's a lifeline.
Yeah.
You know, that thing's bailed you out of situations and made dreams come true for other people that, I mean, that's just the reality of it.
100% it is.
That thing has to do a lot more than just go bang.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. But no, I get it.
I need to strap a flashlight to it. I keep meaning to figure out a way to do that, but we'll talk off air about why. But I had something happen not that long ago, brown bear hunting, and I had the thought, you know, I know a couple other bear guides that when they're in camp in the tent after dark, had a couple of issues happen, and they have a flashlight on their gun at night. That would be kind of handy.
Didn't Tia Shoemaker didn't she have a pick rail put on her Eccles 416?
Possibly, yeah, that might be right. Because I know Phil has some kind of jerry rig on his old ugly.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm misquoting this, please forgive me, but I'm pretty sure like she had a Darcy Eccles. Well, she has a 416, 21 and something inch barrel, and she's got an attachment like that on there.
Yeah,
and she would know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's a great segue. So we can turn the page and get into hunting and guns and everything. So you talked about, you know, moving up here from the Midwest. What was kind of your initiation or baptism by fire? What really tickled your fancy for big game hunting up here? What was there a specific species that you kind of latched onto, or was it kind of a gradual?
Yeah, I mean,
over time.
I mean, Alaska is known worldwide, and if you're a hunter, like it doesn't take long for somebody to whisper Alaska, and if you start asking the right questions, you learn in a hurry that this is kind of the Super Bowl up here, and
or the Stanley Cup.
Stanley Cup, yeah. Title fight. Let's go through all of them here. Yeah, if it's the big leagues.
Yeah,
and you know, I couldn't remember my first initiation to Alaska, but moose.
Sure,
moose, and. So ever since, you know, I was a little kid, it was just, you know, I would do anything I could to get my hands on Alaska, like the old Cabela's hard copy.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Alaska guide.
Yeah.
Let me read this. I'm going to wear this page out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was just an obsession that was born at an early date. My dad brought me up here when I was 16. And I was just blown away with the place. Like we drove down the Turnagain Arm, and I was is this real?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm just going to have to move up here. So at some point, you know, I was kind of at that transitional point in life, and the topic came up about moving up here, and I just was all over it. And then got in the truck and came up here and went to UAA, and have been up here ever since. But yeah, I mean, going back to the hunting side of it, but brown bears, Kodiak Island, the Alaska Peninsula, Dall sheep hunting, the Brooks Range, like so many iconic locations within the state and animals that it was just hard to ignore. Like I got to go see this for myself at some point. Came up here with the idea I'd be here for a couple of years, and you know, 22 years later, it's like I feel like I'm just getting started still.
Yeah,
and like the enthusiasm has just gone even higher. it's like I want to see more, but I want to do more, but it's such an addiction.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about this before, but you could live 2 or 3 lifetimes.
100%.
And maybe then you wouldn't even see the entire state.
And then that's if you had all the time
right.
and all the resources to just go hog wild and just try to do it all.
Yeah. Yeah. One lifetime is not enough.
No, not even close.
Yeah. But anyway, so I guess we can talk about bear hunting a little bit here. That's kind of our kind of been our drive lately. And we'll get into sheep hunting here in a little bit, but bear season is upon us. But I think by the time this one even drops, I'm going to be gone in guide camp because at the time of this recording,
this will come out, so.
yeah, I'll be long gone. Anyway, so brown bear hunting. You guys have a YouTube channel for Alaska Blade Works. If folks haven't seen that, they can go check that out. Was it your first video that dropped? Was that grizzly bear hunt?
Yep.
Okay.
First ever video.
There's a few things about that I found interesting. Number one, that there's not a whole lot of well done videos of that type of country. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of brown bear hunting videos out there, but not a whole lot of bears in that area of the state type of videos. Sure. And that was very interesting to see that style, a lot more of a lightweight type of mobile ability to be able to cover a lot more country. Because usually, you're just sitting still and, days and days and even weeks on end waiting for your chance. Yep. But there you have visibility. So maybe just go into that hunt a little bit and tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, the content side of things nowadays and like the business side, like that's an animal. Like I had no idea. So like the decision was made, when we started this is like, how do we market? And it's like, well, we put a lot of credence into owner designer, like we wear all these different hats, but we also were hunters and like, well, let's showcase the hunting. And somebody who's been, I've hidden from the camera pretty much my entire life and had zero interest in social media, zero interest in anything. And like, now I'm at the other end of the spectrum with it because there is a lot of value to it. So it's like, well, we're going to do this. So then, when I come in today and I'm like, that's this is this camera and this camera, like my acumen for technology and electronics has gone so much higher because it's so important. So long story short, we're going to do this hunt in an area that's a little bit more unique. And it's like, well, we're going to self-film it. So we're going to do our best and to learn the cameras and to hunt. And to try to self-film is pretty dang hard. And, just luckily we're hooked up with a really good editor and videographer. I was
going to ask if you did your own editing or not. No. It's a whole nother. It helps for me. It helps with the self-filming because I'm thinking about my editing while I'm filming.
Yeah.
And I've really just started with it, but
yeah, it's a lot to it. So he kind of gave us some context of, hey, try to film this, think through this lens. So we did that and went out and like, we're cool. Like if we get an animal, if we get a bear, we've got to get it on film.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it turned into a marathon, like lightweight, high speed, light blitzkrieg grizzly hunting.
Yeah.
And we wind up way in the next zip code and we're gassed. And I'm like, all right, Cole, get the camera out, man. He's trying to figure it out. He's never used it before. And this monster grizz is at 50 yards and I'm set up. And he gets it rolling, and it just all came together.
Yeah.
And I mean, I couldn't have gone any better because I didn't think he had the camera on, and he did. And the whole time, it just gets that bear kind of sizing the situation up. And he's like, I know something's not right here. Yeah. It's not a charge, but he's like, I'm going to go see what's going on. And then I'm just letting him quarter. And then the second that he gives me what I want, I hit him and just drop him at 50 yards. And absolutely lights out.
Yeah.
Not an inch forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Dead before his chin touched the ground.
Yeah. But that was a big learning curve, just trying to film everything and hunt and like do it all. It's just another complexity that you have to keep your eye on. But to see the end result, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
To see it come together.
Yeah, it definitely turned out well. Especially considering, you're measuring it off of, this is our first video, that turned out really well. And then you guys filmed a caribou hunt and, some black bear stuff in there
sheep
too.
Hunt.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. The sheep hunt too. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was, you talk about wanting to be off camera. Your partner, I was shocked.
I know.
Blown away.
I know.
That he was on camera.
Yeah. I
Totally
had people
stunned.
walking up to me and being like, "Did you see that video? It popped up. You know who I saw on YouTube?"
Yeah. Well, I mean, my Instagram handle's AK Ghost because it's just like I just want to be a ghost and just go do my thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting comfortable and learning how to use the cameras and then be in front of the camera. Like I would have, if you guys would ask me to do this a year ago, I'd have been like, I think I'm busy that day. Like, we haven't even told you a day yet. So there's a little bit to it, but yeah, going back to that grizzly hunt, filming that was pretty cool in that country. And then now it's like, okay, I see what he used for this clip and I know what I need to do different next time and what the viewers, you're not making it for the viewer. You're doing your best to make it based on what you think is interesting. And hopefully that translates to a good video.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What'd you shoot that bear with?
A nuclear warhead.
That's what it looked like.
A 338 RBH, so essentially a 338 Norma improved. It's a very specialized cartridge. It's not something you're going to walk in and buy. It's a custom rifle. The process I had to fire form all that brass. Shooting a 260 grain hammer hunter at 3070.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cooking.
And this is where we're going to definitely get into the weeds here, which I welcome, but having a cartridge where you can reach out, like I'm a long range shooter, but I'm not an advocate of shooting something at 5,000 yards. Sure. There's an ethical limit from skills and ballistics in which you have to understand. But I also think that sometimes it's more ethical to take something at distance than it is to try to get, 20 feet from it. So having a cartridge that I could reach out and play a little bit of that medium game, for me, medium's 500 to 700. I really don't want to shoot anything past that.
Yeah.
And having the ballistic ability to be effective when it, impacts the target at that range. But then also too, like up here, like when stuff with grizzlies and brownies happen, like it's fast and it's in your face. Yeah. So having something that I could use up close. So that hunt was great because it was the culmination of all this research and, running ballistic numbers and seeing, in theory, what would this bullet do and what would that do? But then when it hit that grizzly, it's like, oh, wow, this is extremely effective.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess I'm curious about the 338. You called it an RBH?
Yeah. So Arbro's rifles, so Travis Riddell, it's his proprietary called a Wildcat, but it's his round his cartridge that he developed.
Is it based on a 300 Norma case?
Yeah.
So is it blown out shoulder dimensions different or?
So it's 338 Norma. I mean, he obviously chambers it in, whatever he did to design, the initial cartridge based off the 300 Norma. I can't speak to the specifics of what he did, but you start playing with your shoulder a little bit.
Yeah.
So then, you're getting 338 Norma brass.
Is it acquiesced at all?
I don't think so.
Or not really? Okay.
I don't want to misspeak. And I talked to Travis enough to understand what he did to it, discarded that information from my brain because then it became the end user performance aspect. Sure. I don't get hung up in let's talk about the Lazzaroni cartridges or the Ackley's. I don't get into the weeds with, the specs on that stuff, but there was enough performance enhancements to that cartridge where you're getting about 200 feet per second over the standard 338 Norma. And it's like, okay, well, is it worth it? Is the juice worth the squeeze to go through all that work and spend all that money to get it there? For me, it is. Yeah. For that extra 200 feet per second.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you mentioned you shoot a 260 grain hammer bullet out of it. Why the hammer?
Well, trying to find a bullet that'll actually target bullets versus, old school bonded bullets, something that'll actually perform when it hits the animal up close and far is tough. So, I mean, I think where that hammer falls a little short is unless you're hitting dense muscle or bone, I shot an elk with it in New Mexico at 600 in the lungs and it just pencils through it.
Really?
But, I mean, the animal's going to, it's going to die. But then when you hit, shoulder bone with it, that's where that thing just transfers the energy and just wallops stuff.
So Mo and I have been working with hammer bullets for several years at this point. And we just ran into somebody not long ago that said that they had what they thought was a similar experience to what you're talking about, but at 30 yards. Yeah. It was also a hammer hunter. and they thought it was penciling through. And so I'm going to assume, I guess the term would be give you more of the benefit of the doubt, because the other guy, I don't know how much effort went into dissecting and looking at the internals. I would assume that when you're talking about that elk with that situation, you looked into it, cut it open, looked at the inside, to verify bullet disruption. Right. But that is an interesting thing. Now, I personally have not shot the hammer hunters out of anything. I've shot the HHTs, the tipped ones. I've shot the what is now the stone hammer, which used to be the shock hammer. And I have not had, I mean, even with blacktails, like a 7 mag with a 145 HHT, I have not had it fail to open, even in just rib material. But I'm not sure if that's a factor of the hollow point becoming clogged or velocity to disrupt. I'm not really sure how that works.
Yeah. I mean, I've shot the stones, I've shot the HHTs, and I've shot the hammer hunters. And the hammer hunter's primarily a lightweight, slow bullet in deer, and I've never had it.
There you go. That's probably what caliber?
6.
Yeah. That could be the difference too, right? It's just when you're, that thing's running hot.
I mean, you were 600 yards though. You said.
Still, yeah. I mean, velocity at that distance, it's definitely slowed down.
And
I'm not a scientist, that's for sure. But no, it's an interesting. Yeah, I'll let you guys keep going because it is interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, so there was a YouTube video that I just came across.
Okay.
That we watched when you were over here the other day, and they were shooting into ordnance gel, not ballistics gel. Which the ordnance gel density is exponentially higher than ballistics gel, or I think they called it permagel as other terminology for it. But the penetration was not anywhere near what you would see these bullets going through ballistics gelatin in a typical, some YouTube video, and let's just say you're shooting a Barnes TTSX out of a 30-06 180 grain bullet, you're going to get serious penetration, and anything up from that, you're shooting through multiple blocks sometimes. But that ordnance gel, and this was specifically a copper bullet examination, and they shot them out of a 308. They were all like 165 or 168 grains. Shot them out of a 308 at impact velocities of 2,700-ish feet a second, and then about 1,900 and change feet per second. Now, they downloaded it with powder charge. They didn't extend the range, actually. Right. So I don't know if there's any rotational difference that compounds at distance that you're not getting at 75 yards with a downloaded case. And they gave that caveat, which I appreciated, because there could be some difference. But at low and high velocity, they did shoot a hammer 168 HHT, and at low velocity, it did the exact same thing that it does at high velocity, which has been our experience.
No, that's an HHT, which is the tipped,
right?
Not the non-tipped. Which I think every instance I've heard of, both either
has
directly or third party, has been with a non-tipped hammer hunter.
Yes. Which makes me wonder if that isn't a hollow point size issue potentially.
Could be.
What weight bullet?
260.
260, yeah.
Oh, so it was the same one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to talk to one of the owners about that.
What's your barrel twist?
Oh, it's above 10.
So like at 1 and 9 or 1 and 8?
No, I'm sorry. It's the other direction.
Okay. So I wonder if at that, have you shot much at that distance? Were you at a much higher elevation than where you typically would?
No.
So I wonder, because I was wondering if you if it keyholed or something. But if you've shot that distance, the target shooting at the same elevation,
it would be shooting precise at 600 yards.
There's another guy that I could talk to. He's killed a lot of stuff with hammer hunters. Used to guide up here. He's retired.
Okay.
But he'd be another good one to maybe tie you guys in with. Because I had a long conversation with him going into this. Because he knows, he's talented with a gun. And he's the one who kind of got me sniffing a little bit more in this direction. And he was telling me about his experience. He goes, it's something that you want to, with that bullet, he goes, you want to hit dense muscle.
Interesting. Bone. Yeah, that's very interesting. But yeah, I haven't shot the hammer hunter personally, but he has, and you've only shot the hammer hunter out of your 6 arc, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's
the lever hammer is a pretty big hollow point.
yeah.
They say it's the same, but it's not really.
Yeah, that's a lot closer to the stone hammer.
Yeah,
but with that 6 arc, what's your muzzle velocity?
27. Yeah,
yeah. So pretty mild, but the construction of different weight classes and calibers. Even in the same model, the thickness of 100%. The nose pedals, how deep the hollow point is drilled. Technically the hammer hunters are going to retain that shank is usually going to be around 60 or 70%, give or take a little bit here and there. But I wonder if it isn't the lighter caliber hammer hunters don't have a little bit thinner nose pedals and they disrupt easier and then go into their terminal performance.
Because it's not apples to apples.
Right. Yeah. Because I shot a deer.
And I hadn't even thought of that before until just now.
I shot
that could be it.
A little one. No, I mean, it was like 20 yards.
Yeah.
I was just still hunting and stop and look and deer, boom. Right. And I mean, it essentially emptied the guts out of the animal on the other side. I mean, it was.
Well, it's such an interesting topic because there's a lot of emotion that gets thrown.
Oh yeah.
And it's like I welcome the conversation, but it's like I like we've talked about Gordon before. Like let's get some people that have real world results with this stuff, and as opposed to what you think it'll do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And then so that's where I don't want to take us off topic, but if the animal dies, I'm good with it.
We talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's where like, okay, in a perfect world, I want a bullet to do this, this, and this. But again, at 50 yards versus 600, dangerous game versus this has to work.
Right.
This app,
Right.
And because I used to shoot burgers and I still do, but do I want a burger in that situation? Probably not.
Yeah.
But that's where like, okay, from a ballistic coefficient perspective, is this bullet going to just be nuking at 50 yards to where it just blows apart? Mm-hmm. Or is it going to, download energy and disrupt? Yeah. And then how can because I can shoot, like I'm not an NRL hunter, but I can hold my own. Yeah. And then, and then if I'm reading wind at 650 yards, at 700 yards, is it efficient enough to surf, not surf, but I mean, obviously is it efficient enough to travel through the wind? Yeah. And then get there and do what it needs to do. And like, that's where that elk at 600 something, and then I shot a caribou at 570, I believe. Mm-hmm. And then, but that grizzly, it's like, I can shoot far with this and I can take care of big bears up close. Mm-hmm. And it's tough trying to find a cartridge and a bullet that can do all that.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever met anybody else that has that exact cartridge. I don't think I know anybody else with it. Haven't. But it is a unique solution to that problem. I mean, I'm sure somebody could argue that you could just rebarrel a 338 Ultra Mag and get a similar end result. Maybe. Probably not the same velocity, though. But that idea of having a high octane 338 where you can shoot the heavier for caliber monometals and still have that reach, but it's still going to work at 25 yards too.
And a 24-inch barrel too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
yeah, I mean, I'm not running a 28-inch barrel.
So it must have a much steeper shoulder than a Norma, because Norma has a real shallow.
Yeah, I mean, that's where you're getting that velocity from. Is it's just
efficiency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I should have brought it, but yeah, it's impressive. But I mean, it's expensive to get into it. The powder that you're using is pretty dang hard to find.
Mm-hmm. What are you running for powder?
RL26.
Oof.
Yeah, you could run H1000 in it too, but you're not going to achieve. It's going to fall a little bit short. Yeah. So yeah, RL26, like the hardest powder to find on the planet.
Right.
And then going through, like, I look at the price tag to Fireform that, and it's like, that was a lot of money to get to that point, and the wear and tear on the barrel. So it's, I wouldn't recommend it unless you were doing what we do up here and doing it very consistently, unless you just want it for a novelty. But, where we go down the peninsula, and again, like, I've had a ton of conversations with Gordon about it, and he's 200 and under, and he doesn't like 200, and he's a 416 rem guy, and that guy's been in front of how many bears? Right, like
thousands. I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, and he's got it figured out, and I mean that wisdom, and I don't argue with that. I like it when he talks, I listen.
Oh yeah.
But technology and it's changed a little bit, and I still subscribe, and I respect and I appreciate that. But if somebody has the skills and the knowledge and knows how to do it and perform, like. I don't want to shoot a 10-foot brown bear at 600 yards. I do not. Yeah. But if it happens and it's that Unimac, Unimac. I drew that tag, and if I'm down there at a once in a lifetime tag, and that biggest bear on the island walks out, like, am I undergunned in that situation? I don't think I am.
Yeah.
And could I reach out there and work on him at 400 something if we couldn't get closer? Yeah.
Do you know off the top of your head what your retained velocity is at, let's just say, 400 yards?
I could look it up in AB. I don't know off the top of my head, though.
You're probably still 27, if not slightly higher than, or at least that ballpark.
I'll have to pull it up here in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it screams. I mean, what I muzzle energy, like what that thing is at the muzzle, I think is like a 338 or a 375 exponentially farther out. And you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Well, and those aren't slouch cartridges either.
No, but those cartridges were not designed for this application.
No.
I would not put a 3 to 10 or a 3 to 12 or a 2 to 12 scope on my 375 Ruger and work up some hand load that's going to stretch me out, because that's only going to stretch me out to 350, 375.
Right.
You could stretch a 375 Ruger out significantly.
But with the bullet weight that I want to go with,
right,
and the distance.
Yep. And this is the conversation.
That's where, and I've got a 20-inch barrel.
Yep.
That's not what that gun is built for.
Right.
I would not put a piece of glass on there and then try to work up a load to make it something that it's not. At that point,
I certainly wouldn't put the piece of glass on there. You could work up with an HHT.
With 276 HHT.
Yeah, you could, and I think I looked at these numbers at one point. Now I have a 23-inch barrel on mine.
Yeah.
Just roughly what I could get. But with that, you could get, because if you can get that 2,700 feet per second at the barrel with that, you because you're such a heavy bullet, you retain your velocity.
With a 23-inch barrel and a 276, I guarantee you're up at 28.
Right. And so I don't remember what numbers I had put in for that.
Guarantee. But the depreciation is going to happen, at least for me, because I don't like, and hammers are fine copper bullets, and we've said this before. We work with hammer, but it's not to the point that we don't have a personal opinion about everything else too.
Right.
There's no exclusivity that keeps us from having an open opinion. There are other wonderfully designed copper bullets out there that kill just fine. And if that's your taste, then that's your taste. I've still shot more animals with Barnes bullets than any other two of them combined, because that's all I used to shoot.
Right.
They kill. Terminal performance is different, of course, but I don't like pushing a copper bullet down to 2,000 feet per second on a brown bear. I want more impact velocity.
Right. Well, and I'm not talking specifically brown bears. I'm just talking about what you could potentially do.
Sure.
And so this was a 299 shock hammer at 2,800 feet per second is what I had run here.
Okay.
Which was a different cartridge, but it's still a 375. And they're 299, so it's almost 300 grains.
At what velocity?
28. Different cartridge.
Okay.
Is the key there. But you hit 1,800 at 550 yards.
See, but to me, I want impact velocity on a brown bear at least 22. At least.
Okay, so you're
which is why I
think,
prefer,
which to me, I think 22 is you're so high of a margin, but you're still 300 yards.
Yes,
which is crazy.
I can do that with my 270s though, out of my
right. Well, right, and now this was a 299, not the HHT.
When you see a 10-foot
and you're talking
bear
about a brown
shot,
bear,
yes,
you're not talking. I'm talking about which same thing you are too. Like more of I'm on the hunt. I'm not hunting a 10-foot brown bear on the beach in this situation.
Yeah,
that I'm going to look at 600 yards.
I can see the depreciation when somebody starts shooting a brown bear at 120 yards and we put the finishing shots in it at 200 plus. There is a definitive visible difference in the reaction of that bear when it's getting hit at 120 or 80 versus 200 plus. They're 1,000%. And that's why I like that muzzle velocity higher, which is why I tend not to shoot the H&H very much unless I'm going to hand load something a little bit lighter for caliber, because I would rather have velocity with a bullet that's going to retain more weight for its type and get more penetration. But that impact velocity is way more important than I think a lot of people give it credit for.
Right.
It's way more important.
So I'm at 2,200 feet per second at 560 yards.
Yeah.
And that's 2,800 foot-pounds.
Yeah.
It's 1 in 12, by the way.
Yeah.
Twist.
And what's it at say, 200 yards?
200 yards, it is 27.41.
So at 200 yards, you are still above muzzle velocity of a 375 H&H.
That's what I'm saying.
Sounds like you need to build a new rifle.
At
some point.
That's what I was saying. It's like this thing just right out of the gate is just it's insane.
Yeah.
And at 200 yards, for those that subscribe to the energy and those that don't, whatever. But it's at 43.40. At the muzzle, it's at, and I misspoke in a previous podcast, but so at 3070, it's at 5,442 foot-pounds at the muzzle.
Man.
And the thing is it's not a hard gun to shoot. Like, it's got a brake on it, so yeah, make sure you got your ear pro in, but recoil management-wise, like, I'm on target. Like, boom, I send it, I can see it. So it's not like it's an explosion and like, okay, where did I hit, guys? Like, nope, follow through, boom, watch impact, rack another round in, and just keep working.
So what's that? So do you buy a 338 Norma barrel and then have it reamed out? Mm-hmm. So that's not crazy.
No,
it's not crazy for building a custom rifle.
No,
really.
For those that go down this rabbit hole, like, it's extremely doable, but just the time and the money and knowing what you're going to have to get it there.
Did you have that reamed out, or did you do it yourself?
No, I didn't do it myself. I don't touch any of that stuff.
I've seen guys. I went down the rabbit hole. Not money wise. I just researched one winter. It was all I was talking about was wildcats.
Right.
And guys talking about even guys that'll rent you a reamer, right? Where you can whoever is Sherman. If you looked at the Sherman Wildcats and you can rent a reamer and take a handle and just sit there and
no,
it's not for me, man.
I'll let an expert do that, and especially when there's a monster bear lurking out there, like,
absolutely
more than that. But yeah, it's and that's the thing is, I love the conversation. Like, let's talk about other cartridges. I'm not asking this question just in theory. Like, what else and who has real world experience that's accomplished that? Because I think it's a very short list.
Yeah, that's kind of a bothersome subject that Mo and I have tackled a few times when it comes to. And maybe even just in the last episode, we did kind of a more compact type of episode. It was just him and I, and we just talked about bear guns because that
I think I saw that.
Well, that one we haven't even released yet. I don't think
you had something where you actually had a rifle.
Yes,
that was a year or so ago. That was put out.
Yeah, but we did one just a couple of days ago that we recorded that'll come out before this one does. But we went through everything from the options of a 12 gauge with Brennecke slugs. And then you're at a bait and you want a defensive gun, or you're in a backup scenario and you want a guide rifle, or you want a hunting rifle and you're the first shot. And there are all these different variables, and you can have different tools for the job, or you can have a Leatherman, and it's going to do everything okay, but it's going to be great at nothing.
Right, jack of all trades, master of none.
Right. But we were talking about that, and the thing that we mentioned that is controversial. That has been a topic in the industry, if we can just call it that, for the last couple of years now, and I'm kind of surprised that it stuck around this long, is people that don't live here, that maybe come up and shoot a bear every once in every 10 years, but they have influence in the industry. And so now all of a sudden they shoot one grizzly bear or one black bear down southeast on a boat hunt, which nothing against that. And now all of a sudden they're making a YouTube video or a podcast interview about what kind of bear gun you need to have to come to Alaska. You don't get advice about how to wrench on your car from somebody who doesn't wrench on their own car. You don't get bear hunting advice from someone who's done it once or twice. Just because you change your own oil doesn't mean that I want advice from you on how to swap out my engine.
I don't make a habit of dispensing brown bear hunting advice. I've been on a brown bear hunt. Yeah. And a bear was killed.
Yeah.
But it doesn't give me any authority.
But the whole cartridge conversation and projectile selection, and there are people that still will die on the hill of I killed a grizzly bear with a Berger bullet, and this is a wonderful bullet, and here's all the reasons why, and this is it worked well for you on that time.
So have I, and I don't really want to do it again. But I will.
Yeah, I have a buddy who...
It's not my first choice.
He did the classic, I think a very classic Alaskan hunter thing to do, which is to go to the store and say, oh, I have a 300 Win Mag, and that box says hunting.
It's probably 180 grains, too.
And it was a Berger.
It was a 215 that you had to single feed.
Okay, the Berger. Oh, yeah, because he wasn't And
he...
or the mag box.
because he was... he went on, he goes moose hunting and caribou hunting every year, and he got, gets back and he calls me, hey, I got a 50-inch bull moose, and he's all excited. And it's in an A-bull area and all this stuff. And yeah, man, I first saw, and it was at like 500 yards or whatever. And I shot it, and it just stood there. And I shot it again. Anyway, and it took him forever to find it. And he had to shoot it like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
And I said, well, what did you shoot it with? Oh, I don't know. It said hunting on it. It was a yellow box.
Yeah, definitely.
And at the time, I'm like, well, and he finally I was over at his house, and he goes, well, here's my hunting ammo. And he opens up an ammo can. And every box of ammo in it is all for 300 Win Mag, but every box was a different box of ammo.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what I picked out. It was just something that was like, okay, this is the best of what you hunt with that next time.
Yeah. Well, and like your comment earlier, it's not that you want to be snobby about it, but that was my thing earlier. Is that there's so much emotion and projection thrown around, and it's like, and you bring up a great point too. Like 22 years of being up here, I've seen this many brown bear die in front of me. You've seen more than that. Gordon has seen more than all of us together.
Yeah, combined. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, when he talks, I listen. But then also, too, like that technology versus today's technology. And he's a gearhead.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's been some progression advancements that stretch the performance limits, too. But knowing how to handle it, that'll never change.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, him having assorted ammo, like even the same ammo, but different lots, too, like that's going to fly different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's way beyond where he was.
Right.
But.
Right. But I mean, and this is where I get passionate because like your mental focus, your physical fitness, your nutrition, your gear, how do you know your weapon? Like there's it's not just, let's just throw on the pack at September. It's like, if you are truly dedicated to this, like, and you want to do this at a high level, the amount of discipline that you have in your lifestyle, like if you're a nut like I am, you're always striving to be 1% better in every category. Like if I can learn something from you, it's like, that just made me better. Like there's no finish line, but to be at that level, it just takes a lot.
Yeah. Right. Now this guy, he hunts from side by side.
I'm sure he's a nice guy, but
there's part of me that gets it too, from the moose hunting for your family perspective.
And that's the thing, is I'm not going to cast my opinion on it.
If I primarily hunted for moose, like, you know what? Being able to be within wheels of carrying that weight.
Yeah. Might be the only opportunity he has. Yeah. So good on him.
I still haven't had a moose that, well, I guess the first one I shot when I was a kid. I drew a cow tag. Yeah. We eventually got the wheeler to it. But every moose I've been on since then, it's not that way.
No, they can turn into so much work. But, But yeah, the caliber thing, like growing up, 30-06, 2 inches high at 100, go.
Right.
Versus to where it's at now, and it's, you got to be curious about it, and the lab work and running all the energy numbers and velocities, that's great. Like that's earned the chance for it to go into the field, now test it and see what it does.
Right. Well, but to the point that we were talking about earlier, the guy that you're referencing isn't out there promoting that he is the expert on the subject.
Sure.
And that's kind of the gist of what I was getting at there.
Yeah, you're right.
It's bothersome to the people that actually live here and do this a whole lot. And then we hear that, well, you don't need more than this to do everything. And well, bear encounters are so infrequent anyway. Okay, well, you do it long enough. How about come move up here? You bear hunt in the spring. You bear hunt in the fall, or at least you're in heavy bear country where you're moose or sheep or goat hunting or deer hunting. Eventually, your song 100%. Is going to change.
Yeah, well,
eventually.
There's a huge difference between somebody who's come up here maybe for the 5th time, but still hasn't been around bears.
Yeah.
Enough to. I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but when I walk through the wood, when I'm walking into a bear bait, sometimes we've talked about this on the podcast, if it's a bait where I haven't had anything but black bears and maybe a tiny grizzly bear show up, sometimes all I carry if I'm bow hunting is a sidearm, right? And sometimes that thing never comes out of the holster.
Yeah.
But it's open enough maybe in this area or whatever's going on, and I'm in tune enough to my environment that I'm confident with that.
Yeah.
There's a level of confidence that comes with just spending time in that area.
Yeah.
And once again, I'm not talking about brown bear hunting because I've been on one brown bear hunt.
Yeah.
And that does not give me any authority in that matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a point where maybe in the interior you could make the argument that you can get away with hunting with a small cartridge for specific things.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, you can kill the biggest brown bear in the state with, I don't know, let's just say a 22 Creedmoor. It can be done. I have killed black bears with a bow, grizzly bear with a bow. You've killed black bears with a bow. But when you're talking about the frequency that these people are advocating for, it is totally fine to carry this one type of weapon system for everything. And I went sheep hunting with it, and I went moose hunting with it, and I went moose hunting in brown bear country. There's one that we could throw out there that would be widely recognizable. That was a film production moose hunt that took place in heavy brown bear country. Heavy. And the guys were carrying micro 9mm pistols on their pack belts and smaller than preferred cartridges. And I'm watching them bump off brown bears off the salmon streams. And I thought, man, you wouldn't catch me dead in there with anything less than a 375.
Right.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
If you want to shoot your moose with that, if you want to shoot your caribou or your sheep or whatever, or you want to shoot a bear in a controlled environment over a bait with it. But to me, baiting is its own little nuance.
Right.
You can get away with a whole lot of stuff baiting that you cannot anywhere else, or that you shouldn't rely on getting away with it. But all it takes is one of those 1,000-pound brown bears that says, my mind has changed, and unless you get the perfect lucky shot with that tiny little cartridge, you're not stopping it.
Well, the professional hunters in Africa have it figured out, right?
Yeah.
Minimum cartridges for dangerous game, 375, right?
Yep.
Versus, okay, what does a PH carry? Versus the whole category of stopping cartridges. Like a stopping. Like by definition, it's to stop something.
Right.
And it's the same thing with, like there's that podcast where he's advocating for the use of small caliber. Have we all listened to it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And like in some instances, like, I don't disagree with it. Like recoil management, bullet placement, easier to handle. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
But when the adrenaline gets going and that bear is in the right mood and it's an adolescent and juvenile, and he's coming, like I don't want a 6 Creedmoor in my hand.
No.
I want my 458 lot. I want my
you have.
I've got 4 down and 1 in.
Right.
And it's going to function.
Yeah.
Or I want my 338 RBH. I might have a 460 Weatherby that's getting worked on right now just because why not? Like if a T-Rex walks out, let's deal with it. But that's
the T-Rex gun right back there.
That used to have a sticker on their website underneath.
I think it still is on the website.
Are those penetrators?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I haven't shot anything with it yet, but that's what I carry at my bait.
That's what
because
Chris
I can
Pratt
shoot it.
carried in Jurassic World. So
yeah, I mean,
but but again, we talked about the Leatherman.
Yeah.
That's not a Leatherman. I'm not going to take that thing brown bear hunting on the coast. Zero chance. But I can shoot it one-handed with the buttstock on my pack frame belt and my bow in my left hand when I walk into my bait site, and I can shoot a bear in the face at 10 feet with it.
Well, and there's this feeling too. Yeah, 100%. And there's this feeling too where when you have an encounter, you know real quickly if you've been honest with yourself about your preparation for a cartridge, or you know instantly if you feel like you're undergunned.
Oh yeah.
And it's a scary feeling because they're like, oh, this is the reality. Like on the peninsula 2 years ago, walking back into camp, and Andy gets surprised by a bear in camp, and the thing stands up from here to the door. Yep. And like, it's enough of a story where the hair stands up on my arm telling about it. It's like, what gun do you want in your hand for that situation? Because when he comes, he's either going or he's going to be on you.
Yeah, he's going to run one of two ways.
And then another instance a couple years ago where my buddy wounded one and we had to get in the alders with it. And it's like, I had the Eccles 48 lot that day. I'm like, I feel great.
Yeah.
I feel real good about this. It's going to function, and I got a lot of horsepower.
Yeah.
But yeah, you go walking in there with something that's not right.
Yeah.
You're gonna answer some pretty hard questions to yourself very quickly.
Absolutely.
You know, I carried that 6 arc
Deer
in
hunting.
Southeast deer hunting a couple years ago, and at one point I crossed some brown bear tracks, and for the most part, I had visibility. You know, we talked about it. We talked about it.
Yeah.
A lot. Well, I've got 10 down.
What if you only have time for one?
Yeah, that's it.
It's an AR-15.
Is it going to punch through, though, or is it going to deflect?
Oh, that's going to punch through, no problem. But
Punch through what?
it would punch through that.
All that meat, that big old skull.
Yeah, I don't think it wouldn't have a
I
problem
think
punching
it
through
would
that.
if it was the right angle. You know,
Yeah.
if it's a flat angle, because I shot that black bear right there
Yeah.
with a bow in the forehead. Not something I want to get away with on a routine basis, but it was, you know, I had to try it. And I'd already shot it once. It was dead. It didn't know it was dead yet. And then it comes up towards the stand and starts hissing. And I said, well, you know what? I'm already at full draw. Might as well just see if this works. It was, you know, it happens in a half a second. But I thought, just the cascading situation there. And I thought, I'll try it. Boom. And it goes down like a sack of rocks.
Yep.
But am I going to count on that? Absolutely not. Would I ever make my first shot like that? No chance. But
Yeah.
I don't think that bear skulls are as hard to shoot through as some people make them out to be. But I think the angle is the thing that never gets talked about. And that's the moving target. I'm not banking on hitting a bear in the head when I'm stopping a charge. If I'm in that situation, I've only had to shoot one bear that was honest to goodness, dead run, full charge. It was wounded, client situation. And it's still to this day the biggest bear I've ever been a part of killing. It taped at 10 foot and change on like 10.4-ish, just shy of 10.5, but it's a square. So whatever, you could stretch out 2 more inches and call it 10.5.
Yeah.
But it was 28.25, I think, skull. Monstrous brown bear. Monstrous brown bear. But that one, the view was obscured. I'm on my hands and knees in the alder tunnel, falling in there after it. I'm by myself. I left the client behind me on the bank. I'm not bringing him in there. Whole different situation. I'm not going to get into that, but this thing is coming. I can't see the head. I can't make out where it is. You're just going to shoot for brown, and that's the front of it. And I hit it here, went all the way through, came out here, and the thing hit its face in the mud. Now I'm getting around it out of the way of the front of it, so if it gets up again, I'm moving. You don't shoot and just stand there on a charge.
Yep.
You shoot. If he goes down, you move. And I think that's pretty universal. But got around it, shot it again, and it was dead. But in that moment, even my 375, like I came out of that going, one day I'm going to have something bigger than this. One day. Because all 3 senior guides at that camp, the outfitter and the 2 senior guides, and Gordon's one of them, all 3 of those guys shoot .416 Remingtons.
Yeah. Sorry, keep going.
No, I was just going to say, the other guides, myself, my good buddy, and one other guy that works for them, we're all under, well, I guess one of them's 30, but we're all just under 30. We all shoot 375 Rugers. And all 3 of the older guys, at some point in the season, always make a comment, one day you're going to grow up.
Yeah.
Like, one day you're going to grow up. But, and that comes back to what we were saying before we even started recording, is availability of rifles. We're all younger guys, we all have 9-to-5s. Maybe we're not in the budget of building the kind of .416 that we want. And it's hard to pass up a 375 that for a few $100 you can modify and make it perfectly field capable, and it works. But I wouldn't put a 375 as a big bore cartridge. I don't think it is.
It's not.
You go to Africa and you're going to be hard pressed to find a full-time Cape Buffalo guide that's carrying a 375. They're carrying at least a .416, and most of them more than that.
Yep.
But it's just a different category. But anyway, I don't know how we got off on all those weeds, but
well, it's good weeds. I mean, it's interesting stuff. I mean, and that's how good conversations take place. Is it's not so structured. It influence. I mean, it infuse different ideas into it, right? Like it's like a campfire's there, and we're sitting around BSing. But that topic came up, and I've talked to a bunch of bear guides on the peninsula too, and it wasn't seeking out performance related topics on the 375. It's just it came up, and I've heard so many stories where when you get into that upper class of bear, 6 rounds, sometimes 8 in those stories. And again, like there's been a ton of bears dropped with 1 round with 375, but I noticed a theme, and you're sitting there shooting that thing for a while.
The 10-footer that our friend killed with me on the peninsula in October last year, I think we counted 8 or 9 hits.
From a 375?
Yeah, he was shooting an H&H, I was shooting my Ruger. I think we hit it 8 or 9 times, and we shot like 12.
Yeah.
But that one started at 110 and ended at about 200. Yeah. If not a little bit farther.
Yeah. My 9.5 footer was a perfect first shot. Bear had no idea it was there. And I mean, it was six shots, 375.
Yeah.
No. I made that decision.
Which
circling
one?
back to the 6 arc to go to that area. consciously to carry that gun. For one, it was late in the season for where we were at.
Yeah.
So most of the bears were moved up higher.
Yes.
For two, most of the area I knew I'd be hunting, where I'd be likely to encounter bears, was going to be open enough that I wouldn't be it wouldn't be 5 yards. Most of the time, I'd have at least 50 yards. And I made the decision saying, if I do run into one, and if I have to shoot it versus choosing to, I might even make the choice to do it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah.
But that was with fully understanding, well, as much as I can, the risk of what I was getting myself into. And I would never recommend or say that it's kind of dumb, but I also have carried nothing but a 9mm into a bear bait before because I felt like, I also know black bears fold easy, but it's not that I don't know. I've never advocated somebody do that.
Well, and there's something there too. I'm glad you mentioned it, that there is a caveat of time of year where we deer hunt. If it's into December, I mean, I can count on one hand.
It's also not 10-foot brown bear class country.
No. Yeah. No. I mean, down there, if you shoot an 8.5 footer, everybody in town's like, wow.
Right. Now, the track I crossed was a nice track, but it wasn't a 10-foot brown bear.
But knowing that time of year situation, I can count on one hand the number of brown bear tracks that we've seen in December down there. Like almost none. November, when we're going to go this year, 100% different story. I shot that brown bear when I was there in 2017. And that year I was deer hunting with a 375. And we saw multiple brown bears. And my buddy and I bumped one going up the spot where that guy got killed a couple of years ago. He was deer hunting and went back in for another trip in the dark, from what I understand, and got jumped. There's a lot of bears in there in November. There's some late runs that come up the creeks, and that's where you're doing some of your deer hunting. Because, and our mutual connection, he and I shot 5 in one day on that creek.
That's where I was thinking where you guys were at.
That's where that guy got killed. Yeah. Is right where he and I were shooting deer. And there's a trail in there, and it's a wonderful spot.
Sure.
I know a forestry, of a forestry person that we talked to that had to DLP 2 or 3 brown bears consecutively over like 2 days at the same spot and kept getting charged. And he's shooting with a slug gun, but still, time of year you have to know. But that's the thing. People that don't live here and do this all the time, they don't understand that nuance. A bear bait is different from deer country, and deer country is different from peak rut in November or late October to middle of December when we're really just hunting them on the beach. Yeah. Because the snow is thigh deep everywhere. The deer are not up in the trees, and the bears are up at 2,500 feet. They're all denned up. And if you do see one, you're going to hear it. Yeah. It's loud. It's snow everywhere. You're going to see the movement. But just knowing that environment and having that ability to discern, okay, I'm fine to carry a 6 arc because I'm predominantly hunting this type of country. It's this time of year. We've been doing this now. I mean, I've been deer hunting down there 10 years. Yeah. So I understand the terrain enough that time of year matters a whole lot for that.
Yeah, through your experience, you guys are just, it's risk assessment.
Well, and there's a hypervigilance that you learn. Well, you talk about woodsmanship, and I haven't grown up hunting in that part of the state, but I've grown up since as young as I can remember being, like, I first saw my first bear in the wild at 7 years old. Okay. There's something to that when, choosing to carry a smaller cartridge, despite the risk, because, and anybody can be surprised, but there's something to just knowing, like, to being aware of what's going on, what signs mean when you're out there, and, like, crossing that bear track. Yeah, I became more vigilant, because the bears aren't supposed to be down here. One's hanging out down here, and with where I was, it was open enough for the most part that I really kind of hoped I saw him. And depending on where I saw him, I was 100% wanting to kill a brown bear with a 6 arc. Very, very few people have that on their resume. But
you're reliant on, I see the bear. Yeah. Okay, he doesn't see me. Now he's broadside. I'm close enough.
100%.
If he pops up even at 30 yards and he's doing this, looking at you, I'm not shooting a frontal brown bear with a 6 arc.
No, I would not.
I don't care what kind of bullets I have in there. I mean, sure, you could eventually kill it, but you might be tracking it for a long ways. And brown bears are no are no easier to find in that terrain than deer are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just shrink into these root ball holes and
now this year I'm going to carry a
disappear.
338 arc,
338s.
which is a much
Great.
bigger cartridge, much bigger bullet, but it's the same cartridge size.
What's this arc addiction you're on?
I don't know,
The
man. It's
performance?
AR-15s.
Yeah.
It's,
No, I mean, that's six arc. That's
it's
6
an
arcs
absolute
impressive.
blast. And the 338 arc is a subsonic, about 300 grain class bullet going about 1,000 feet a second.
Yeah.
And once again, though, if I've got 10 down, that can come out
at least
fast
you
as I can
have
pull the trigger.
more mass and momentum factor.
Correct.
That you could break something. But
well, I mean, I'm shooting I'm shooting a pistol at that point with that 338 arc.
Well, and then it gets into like the traditional archery versus, Hoyt's new 90-pound,
rotator cuff killer.
And then, spine of arrow versus, trad bows and stuff like that.
Right.
There's a lot of different weapons to use, but.
And I also carry a 10 mil.
If you're efficient with it,
mm-hmm.
and it's like, hey, I'm gonna sit here and be quiet and listen because you figured something out.
I haven't encountered a bear with it yet.
Well, Mo, hopefully there's not a stuffed Mo doll sitting here next year, and I have to come back up and do this again with Mr. Doll. 6 arc didn't work, guys.
338. Well, actually, I'll probably I might take both this year because I'll just take the upper so I can swap them. But.
I'm not going to have a stuffed Mo. I'll have a blow up Mo.
Yeah,
we'll just have a portable Mo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a feeling the recording and all that might not happen if I'm not here.
Oh, it'll happen.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll happen. I'll figure it out. Yeah. Hi, I'm Dalton, and I'm Mo.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I guess that kind of covers the brown bear and cartridge decision. And enough of the weeds there, but sheep hunting. Mm-hmm. Done a lot of sheep hunting. Did you get into that relatively early on in your adult years up here, or was that kind of a later, as you were more experienced, kind of got interested in sheep hunting?
Later, as I was more experienced, just because I needed just the cost barrier, just even to get sheep gear, it was tough.
Sure.
Like I didn't have a lot of money when I was first moved up here. So becoming more and more comfortable being out in Alaska. And then, growing up as a kid, I thought sheep hunting was only for royalty. Like I never thought I would have the opportunity to go Dall sheep hunting in my life. And getting up here in confidence and seasons go by and it's like, all right, I think I'm ready for this.
Yeah.
And then made the decision to start wading into it. And then I had a little bit more money to throw around to buy, lighter weight gear. Because when I first started hunting, I didn't do anything that was, intelligence focused. It was Carhartts. And I mean, let's put cotton on. Well, when you have no money, that's what you get.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that's how I started. And then sheep hunting, man, that's my thing. I love brown bear hunting too, but sheep hunting's just,
I love it.
Makes
you tick, huh?
Oh, yeah. I love it. Yeah.
Can you bump that mic just a touch closer to the corner?
Yep.
There?
No, I love sheep hunting. I mean, being in that country is just, it's heaven.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Do you prefer going with somebody or going solo?
I do either, but having a good sheep partner, luckily I'm blessed to have a great sheep hunting partner. You guys know him. And Peter and I, we text each other every morning something related to rams for the last 10 years. I mean, that's how it's not casual, and we just love it. So spending time with him, he's just a ball of energy and such a good dude that I would miss him if we weren't there. And there's a couple other guys too I'd sheep hunt with, But.
Well, I have somebody who should be my sheep hunting partner, but
I'm always busy. I guess.
So I've been going solo.
It's kind of hard.
Yeah.
And this year I can't go with him either. Well, maybe.
But there
is something.
Who knows if I'm going to get out this year, man? It's too soon to tell. But
yeah.
Well, as you guys know, have you killed a ram?
I have not.
Yeah, I mean it's hard. How many sheep hunts have you been on?
2 for myself.
2, yeah. It's hard to pull it all together.
Yeah.
Well, and last year it came down to weather and picking the wrong tent for the area I was in.
Yeah, the gear thing becomes real at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess there's some gear things that I'm always curious to see what different sheep hunters that are accomplished and that I respect, and I kind of a gearhead. It kind of goes in phases.
Kind of.
It goes in phases.
Yeah.
Right now I'm really kind of honed in on bears because that's,
until that's over. Yeah.
I'm leaving here real soon.
Yeah.
But as soon as bear season's over, man, it switches gears real fast. And I'm taking my boss sheep hunting in August. He drew early Delta.
Okay.
So we've got a lot of recon for that, kind of know where we're going, have a plan. But sheep hunting will be the next focus after that. And then I drew 827 for caribou, which, people are all up in a wad about how hard that is to draw now. Whatever, it'll be fun, something different to be able to do, get into a different area. But as far as sheep hunting goes, I'm always curious. And like you mentioned, through conversation, you pick up things from guys that are more experienced and that you can kind of glean some things from. So are you a freestanding tent guy or a standalone tent guy?
I mean, if I can't put poles in it and it stands on its own, I don't want to mess with it. Okay. So, and just the stability. And again, worst case scenario, like I've been in worst case scenario. And if it can't take, 70 is a lot to ask for a tent.
Yeah.
And if it can't handle that, then it needs to happen once and you get burned and you're like, okay, not doing that. The trekking pole tent was great until it went into the air and gone. Well, I like to call it industrial lightweight because like when you first start sheep hunting, you think through the lens of, I want it to weigh lighter than a feather. And everything is like you're just focused on weight. And then you go and do it and you realize through hard lessons that, hey, like there's some shortcomings. And it kind of goes back into the context of use. But again, it's Alaska and weather happens. And if you're not ready for it, like things get turned sideways in a hurry. Yeah. So I like a good cross pole design that can take a snow load or even some of the Hillebergs in the right wind conditions too. But I'm not relying on a trekking pole for the structure.
So what's your preferred tent then?
So I've jumped around through the years. So, I mean, if you said take one today, Hilleberg Solo.
Yeah. Okay. That's where we're at.
I've run the Stone Glaciers. I forget this.
Solus. Or something.
I've run that the last couple of years and I just ordered a brand new tent from Samaya.
Okay.
So I'm going to be running the Samaya Instant.
It's a tent brand I haven't heard of yet. Okay.
Oh, no, like the gear thing, like let's talk. Like I go deep into that. And so I ordered I'm cutting weight off of my sleep system this year. And I'm doing it tastefully knowing the limitations.
How do you spell that?
SAM. I think it's AYA. So Samaya Instant 2 I'm going to run this year. Packed weight, it's just a skosh over 2 pounds.
Wow.
It's got vestibules. So I'm going to run that, but so I'm trying something new this year, but that Hilleberg Solo, it's a little heavier, but I mean, I've been in some storms in that thing and it's such a good tent.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Instant 2 you said?
Yeah.
Is that a single wall, like a Dyneema or is
it is?
Is it?
Yep. And obviously like, you worry about the condensation.
Yeah. But
like the Samaya, there's the Samaya Assault too. Like it just got here yesterday. I haven't even, the Alpinist.
The Alpinists?
No, I'm just saying like there's just
the
some
ones they
different
have.
ones.
I'm not seeing one called the Instant pop up here, which is why I'm.
Interesting.
Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Waiting list, huh?
Yeah, I had to special order it.
Interesting.
Did you order it straight from them, or?
I ordered it through AMH in Anchorage.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Okay, that seems to be a pretty good store down there.
They've got their inventory is incredible.
Yeah, I like stopping through there when we're in town.
So you're convinced enough that this is enough to try it out?
I'm gonna try it. Yeah, but I mean, I've got 2 Old Faithfuls to go back to, but so I'm gonna run that this year.
What other ways did you cut sleep system weight?
So Feathered Friends makes a bag where you're not. What do you got for weight there? Yeah, just a little over.
Packed weight, 2 pounds, 5 ounces.
Yeah. And I could probably, scale that down a little bit too. And it's got vestibules on it too, which I appreciate.
Awesome. Yeah.
The only thing like with that Solus is the way it opens. If it's raining, you're eating it.
Yep.
And I don't care for that.
No, I think the Solo kicks the Solus's butt in many ways. And the Solo is longer. Did you have to sleep cockeyed in the Solus?
Just a skosh. Like I made it work, but I mean it's not a tall man's tent.
Right. Yeah. The Solo is just long enough that I can lay straight in there. Yeah. Have you ever run the Solo without the insert?
No.
And gone floorless?
No. Then that's where like when you're tired and it's storming and you throw it up, you just want to get inside of it, and I have that peace of mind. But back to your question, so Feathered Friends makes a bag that imagine getting rid of your zipper, so it's just a tube and you don't have the mummy and the hood side on it. So you insert yourself into it, and there's a drawstring, and it's 20 degrees, and it's at my size, it's just a little over a pound.
Wow.
So, and then from there, like I've tested out a lot of different sleeping pads, and again, how you sleep in your tent, like being 6'2", 205 pounds, like trying to fit on a very narrow, minimalist short pad, like you're not going to get a great night of sleep. But when you put your pack in the tent with you, and you could kind of lean up against it for stability, so you're not worried about balancing the whole night, like that's going to increase your sleep quality. So the Thermarest, I struggle with models because I have so much gear, but it's 8 ounces at my size. So total sleep system is just right around 4 pounds.
Is it a Thermarest brand pad? Is it the Uber Light? Like
it's
if you hold
blue.
it up and you can see
blue.
through it?
It's blue.
Huh. Interesting.
But that's it. And I weighed it I weigh everything on my own scale.
Sure.
And that was at 8 ounces.
Wow.
So, and that's where if I just had to sleep on that pad by itself, it would be a challenge. But knowing like, hey, like I can position stuff around me to where,
right?
Because I've gone too far in the wrong direction one year, and I trusted a temperature rating on a bag. It was a big mistake, and I was pretty snug in it, and I was cold on a sheep hunt. So that's where I'm pretty confident that this is going to work well, and right at a little over 4 pounds.
For the entire sleep system, yeah. Have you ever tried the quilt route?
Yeah, I just can't get into that. Some guys do, and that's where like I don't want to poo-poo on their parade with it, but I haven't made it work for me. But I mean, the thing is this bag is lighter than most quilts are.
Right, because there's no hardware in it.
Right, and that's where like being nimble enough to where it's like that's not a big deal. I can get in and out of that thing, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, it might not be the best choice for a.
It's in the truck. It's in the truck if you want to see it.
I'd like to see it before you take off.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, that's interesting.
Oh, my sleep system seems really heavy now.
Well, I mean,
and I felt like I was doing pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too. I mean, is it you start at?
Well, and like you mentioned earlier, cost is the.
Yeah, I mean that tent's not cheap, but.
I know what I was going to ask you. So is Feathered Friends treating or not treating their down?
Oof.
Do you remember?
You guys and your technical questions.
That's always something that intrigues me, though, about down stuff.
I don't know what they are.
Because I have our mutual friend's old Apache bag, the old 15, and it's untreated. And after a dry cycle with a couple of tennis balls, it's wonderful.
So do you like untreated?
Well, right now, the only down
2
bag...
to 3 days of nothing but rain and moisture.
If you can't air it out, then sure, but that's any down bag. Like that's okay. That's my treated Stone Zero too, which is the other down bag that I use relatively frequently. Spring Bear, I kind of go back and forth. I've used the Stone Zero bag at Spring Bear Camp.
But speaking of that 15-degree bag specifically, all it takes is a few days.
It's the same thing with the treated bag.
Oh, really?
Identical.
Oh,
yeah, zero difference.
That
in
makes
that.
me want. I don't want to touch a down bag again.
You're not running a synthetic on the coast?
I did last spring, and as far as synthetic bags go, I know that guys really go down the rabbit hole as far as quality and longevity of synthetic, but to me, I mean, a 0-degree synthetic bag on the coast, Marmot makes a halfway decent one. It's $250.
Yeah.
And I have used that thing 3 or 4 different springs. It's fine. It doesn't pack down as small as maybe something like the Slick Bag will from Kafaru.
Right. That was going to be my next one.
It's not as high a quality material for sure, but it does the same thing, And so that's just a factor of the only reason I have a synthetic bag is for coastal brown bear hunting. And I'm in a big Cabela 6-man tent or I'm in a wall tent. It's staying open all the time. I don't have to compress that synthetic bag down every single day, which is what attributes to them breaking down over time.
Yeah.
So I've been able to get away with a cheap synthetic bag bear guiding if I want to. I've also taken the Stone Zero down there. Does fine because, again, it's not getting packed down every day.
Sure. Yeah.
It's not saturating all the condensation into the material every single day.
That footbox shoving it into a bag every day. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, and then you pull it out at night, and the whole thing is wet because it's all just migrated into itself, and that's what happens sheep hunting. But you get a dry breeze, in the afternoon.
Oh yeah.
Open up your tent, let it air out.
Yeah, pulling everything out.
It's fine.
I don't think it's treated.
Okay. I didn't think it was either. No, you've mentioned Gordon a few times. He had a client a few years ago, I remember distinctly, because, you mentioned Gordon's gearhead, which is uncommon for older, more experienced guys, it seems like. But he's always very attentive to what kind of gear different people bring, and he's always asking questions. And I remember distinctly that he had a client with a Feathered Friends bag, and Gordon was very impressed about it, and it was untreated.
Yeah.
Last year he was looking at the slick bags.
Yep.
We had a client that had one of those too.
Yep.
He likes the center zip idea because Gordon will sleep on his back and just drape it open and not zip it.
The Canadians call the way that Gordon sleeps, they call it fully packed.
Yeah. He's ready to sit up
ready to just go.
and go shoot something.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I have a question for both of you, because I've used that bag, that 15-degree bag he's talking about, Western Mountaineering bag. Substantial number of nights in that.
Yeah, which is untreated down.
Yeah, and it's a well-used bag.
Yeah.
And
that thing is probably
and I mean, what would I do? 10,
old.
15 days in the Brooks in that.
Yeah.
And it was good weather, a little bit of rain, and no issues. And then I carried it on another hunt by myself later that year, and I had pretty nasty weather. I pitched a tarp as a tent, and within 2 or 3 days, I was stuffing on extra installations to stay warm. And you mentioned the untreated down. Now, you said that's the same thing even for a treated down bag?
I've had the exact same problems to solve with the treated down bag from Stone.
Okay.
I've got the same issues.
Now, what I've carried now a few times is I have a 30-degree Sitka bag, and it's synthetic.
It's one that's got the armholes and it's a center.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And it's kind of heavy, even though the sacrifice is the 30-degree. But I have felt like I've been just as warm in that. Now, would you carry then a colder down bag to make up for a colder rating down bag than you would synthetic bag to make up for saturation over time?
No.
No?
Because I have clothes I can sleep in if I have to.
Okay. I'm just curious.
Well, to be fair too, like I've never had a bag be compromised.
Yeah.
I mean, in all those, like, if you're, again, woodsmanship, like if you're smart about it, know when to stay, know when to go, know when assess your gear. And yeah, I mean, the moisture's your foot box is, Peter gets into like the vapor barrier.
Yeah.
And like he's had good luck with that too, but like foot box, like I know if I just leave enough airflow into that tent, like when I come back, it's going to be dry.
Yeah.
So like I've never had a bag get compromised.
Yeah.
And that's through, 12 years of mountain hunting.
Yeah.
And it's just, it gets damp, but I mean, if it's gone, I would
think the bag has a lot of use, and I think that probably has a lot to do with that.
It's worn out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I would be curious to know like what's happening where a sleeping bag's getting into that situation to where it
wasn't a problem. I just was getting colder.
Yeah. I mean, and
I had clothes
they
I
do
could make
lose
up
down
with it
over
and stuff
time.
like that. And now, like I said, I was pitching my own tarp for a tent. So condensation was insanely high. It was snowing. I had ice this thick on the outside of that. I pitched with 2 trekking poles and it held up well, but
good for you.
Mo,
you're a rebel, man.
I didn't
6 arc and a trekking pole tent.
I couldn't afford a tent. I didn't have a tent.
That was his first personal sheep hunt. He had just gotten done packing for me on a sheep hunt.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And it's like, I'm getting back to town and I'm going to get out and I'm going to go somewhere. And I hiked, what did I do with 12?
Just right down the road.
12 miles.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
12 miles in, 12 miles out in like 5 days. And anyway, that from there, that made me say, I don't ever want a down bag again.
Yeah.
Oh, because you just had a bad experience.
Well, it was like, it was wet. I had some warm days during the afternoons, but it was so windy and you never knew when it was going to start misting. So there's no way. I was moving camp every night. There wasn't ever a time to dry it out in that time period.
I think there's a difference in personal opinion here too, which is always a caveat with any gear thing. But I would probably assume that you and our mutual friend is the same way. I know that he is, but you're paying attention to that and thinking about that in the moment. And if I'm laying there and I wake up at 1:30 in the morning and I'm warm and I know I'm going to be sweating here soon, I unzip my bag and I allow airflow, or I'll unzip the wall of my tent and let airflow come in. Mo tends to be like my other buddy that I guide with, where he uses something and abuses it and says,
There is that
if
aspect.
it doesn't stand up to level 10, like I don't want to have to unzip it. I don't want to have to mess with this. I don't want to have to think about ventilation. I just want it to work, period.
Just hard use.
It's just different. I think about that kind of stuff. If I see that my bag is, or if I feel that I'm getting warm, I'm going to deal with that situation. And that doesn't bother me at all. It's no inconvenience to me. But
so part of the
I've
aspect
noticed
of
that's
that
a difference.
hunt specifically was with the weather that I was dealing with.
Yeah.
It would have gotten wetter in the tent had I unzipped it. There was no zipper. It was a stake inside that I had to because it was a tarp.
Right.
And so, and the insane amount of condensation was the issue. It wasn't sweating. It was, I don't think I sweated on that, except for while hiking. My last day, I knew I had 5 miles to go or whatever to get out. And I got up, there was like 6 inches of snow on the ground. And I left all my puffy gear on underneath my stuff. And just as I got hotter, started unzipping stuff.
Yeah.
And I sweated, but I was like, I know truck's just over the next mountain. I'm going to sweat.
Whether you realize it or not, you are producing condensation inside of a bag.
Correct. You're right.
That's, you can't get around that. But I'm a lot more okay with taking a down bag because I can take a 0-degree down bag that packs down to the same size, if not smaller, than his 30-degree synthetic. And I'm going to be able to hunt.
And it's going to be lighter.
All the way into October, and I'm lighter. And as long as I keep airflow, it's fine.
Yeah.
And, if I have to get up in the morning and take a wet foot box and jam it into the stuff sack and then go for a, 10-mile through hike, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll air it out at some point when I stop for lunch. I'll pull it out, open it up, sun comes out for 5 minutes, problem solved. They don't take any time to dry.
I've also started, instead of carrying the bag in a stuff sack, unless I need to, I'll just stuff it in around. I'll put everything else in the bag and I stuff that bag in around it. That way I'm not, with a synthetic bag, I'm not totally compressing it. If I have room in my pack, I'll just kind of fill the pack with that volume, which also helps it to dry out if it needs to. I'm interested in the Peaks bags.
Yeah.
Because I've got a foot box with
some kind of a highly water resistant.
Yeah. And I love that center zip and armholes.
Yeah.
I'm kind of addicted to that now.
That's awesome.
I haven't used one. I don't know. I'd be curious to try the down bag from Peaks, probably the 15, just because of the treated foot box, that it's not going to soak up condensation, which, anybody that knows about Peaks, they're a single wall, non-freestanding shelter company. That's not always my preference up here.
Yeah. Right.
I do have one of the TPs and it works nice for some things, but I haven't used one outside of moose hunting.
Yeah.
Well, I take that back. I used it deer hunting one time in August, but it didn't rain the whole time, so it was fine.
Yeah.
But in a single wall shelter, you have a lot more condensation to think about, so they made sleeping bags with a waterproofed foot box. It's a good idea. It does compromise some weight, but you start thinking about it like Mo does, and maybe that's a down bag that he would like to try. But for me,
because for me, that's saving weight,
right?
And space to switch to that down bag.
But to me, I don't know. I hunted with that 15-degree down bag in the Brooks for 2 months. Not a problem.
Yeah.
Never had an issue. And even if it did get a little bit wet, just open up the tent.
Yeah. Like I said, and you were in a much better tent. In that tarp, I was head against one side, feet against the other.
Yeah.
That makes a major difference.
That's a problem.
And I agree. It made me walk away from that going,
there isn't a down bag that exists that's not going to get compromised in that scenario.
Well, and that's what's cool about sheep hunting is like it forces you to pay attention to the smallest details. Yeah. Like if you do it long enough, like, something like that, you have to take every like little nuance into consideration with it.
Now, I never plan on going sheep hunting under a tarp like that again. However, if that's what I had to do to go sheep hunting, I would. That's kind of where I came from. Like I had great success pitching that as a tent. I would find a bigger tarp, right? But I'm very interested to see how that tent goes, because the reason I took a Copper Spur 3. If you've ever camped, and
got blown off the mountain.
Just about,
And you learned.
Yeah, and the tent is fine.
Not trying to be funny, but
that's
what it takes.
And the tent is fine.
Jokes about
the tent is completely fine. And had I, when I went in there earlier than that, the year previous in the same area, it wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah.
And it just, I got in, got way up high, and
yeah, and I mean that's the thing. If you do this long enough, you're going to get into that situation. and it's going to get exposed quickly. And I don't love carrying that Hilleberg Solo around, but again, I shot a goat in the Sound one year, and I mean, a storm and a half came in that night. I mean, it was like, oh, wow.
September or October?
It was October.
Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, and it just unleashed. And I set that thing up, and I was just like, I brought the right tool for this job. And it just hammered. Like, woke up to like 5 inches of snow. And I mean, it was blowing as hard as it can blow up there.
Did you bring lines on that hunt?
Bring what?
Lines, like rope, rappelling?
No, and you know what happened, because I didn't. No, it's a tough place.
Yeah, it is.
You're going to, like, you will fall. It's not a matter of if. It's just, if you can keep it under 50 falls.
Yeah.
Yeah, that environment's just unreal.
Yeah. Did you go with full-on crampons then?
No, I had micro spikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the little goes a long way there, but I mean, it was so slick, it wasn't even funny.
Yeah. October is tough.
I'm curious to hear how that new tent goes.
No, I'll let you guys know.
I mean, for the price of a Hilleberg Solo, it's another $150 essentially.
And Samaia, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're a French alpinist company, so I mean, they're doing all like the high.
No, it says 3-season.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a 4-season you could get it, but it's designed like that Solus, and I don't like that opening.
Yeah.
And I sat in it, and I could, at my size, I could lay in it and sit up in it. When it was an option, but I just don't like that opening, because in sheep country, it's going to rain.
Yeah.
And it's like, we talk about moisture management.
Mm-hmm.
If I have to open my tent to get in and out, which is going to happen how many times in the morning, and I have to push everything into the back,
right.
And then the front's going to be wet, I'm just starting off as a disadvantage.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you.
What made you decide to go with these guys for this tent?
Reputation, and then the design, and then just the weight.
Okay. You ever looked at
Well, obviously the weight. Like, I just mean to make you say you're willing to spend that much money to test.
And that's kind of the problem too. Being a gearhead and a sheep hunter is you better have deep pockets.
Yeah.
Or or let me reverse that. You better know where you're putting your money.
Right.
Because you're going to have to set enough of it aside. Because reading internet reviews, like Peter and I just say, hey, we don't read reviews. We test everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because to your point earlier, you could get some bad information 100%. From somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all know the forums.
Yeah.
Have you looked at any of the, I think it's called Durston. Is that right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We talked about that tent.
Yeah.
And for what that thing costs and for what it weighs, that's an attractive option.
Yeah.
I haven't played with it, but
I'm just curious because I don't know anybody personally that uses them up here, but
yeah, it's got a great reputation and it doesn't weigh much. But that little Durston's pretty appealing.
There's another one that I'll have to show you after the show here, which we should start tailing towards the end here, I think. Excuse me. But there's another single person freestanding Dyneema option that's developing right now. You've probably heard rumblings of it, but I'm curious to see what you've seen or heard about it yet. But
Dyneema's fun.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun exploratory thing as more and more companies are picking it up and even knockoff variants of the fabric and trying to develop proprietary versions of it. But it's fun seeing innovation because that drives competition.
Yeah.
And with competition comes improvement.
Right.
It's just like the gun world. That's why we're not still shooting 303 Britishes. Things got better.
Right.
But anyway, I guess a few more, just rapid fire things. We don't have to talk terribly long about them, but are you a synthetic or leather boot kind of guy?
Both.
I guess, again,
leather.
If you had to say, like, right now,
leather.
Like, just with your down versus synthetic,
I like leather.
Going to go leather. Mm-hmm. You have a preference on make or model in that?
There's a couple good ones out there, but I mean, just for an off-the-shelf like boot company, Loa fits me well. Yeah, I mean, we could talk 5 hours on boots, but I mean, I've got tons of Lathrop and Sons and Loas.
I was going to ask you about Lathrops.
Yeah, Scarp. My feet are high maintenance. Scarpas have been good to me too, so it's just
like
whatever.
The Scarpa Wrangles. Have you run the leather Scarpas yet?
I've got a pair of them in the truck.
Okay.
Those are older.
Yeah. Well, I think they might be discontinued now too. Mm-hmm. I was looking for a pair 2 years ago.
Yep. No, Scarpa makes a good boot, but again, it's just
fit and feel.
You try to shop for what you want, but you end up with what you need, and it's two different things.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, I mean the plastics crowd, the synthetic crowd, the leather crowd, like
whatever works
for you.
Whatever
works, yeah.
Yeah. High magnification spotter or compact lightweight spotter with less mag?
So with the advent of phone scope systems like Allens, like you can go with smaller.
Yeah.
Because I mean the zoom Like the zoom, like that all-in system is amazing.
Yeah.
It's so fast and easy.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're zooming in.
Yeah.
And it makes those smaller spotters that much better.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Leica that with the doubler that goes up to 90.
Yeah.
But you don't need it as much with these systems.
Yeah. Are you running the Swarovski compact one?
I'm almost bought it, but Peter and I are going to run his little Kawa first because that's a nice spotter.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm not opposed to getting the Swirl, but we're going to test this one first. I've got it in the truck, and we're going to throw the all-in on it just to run it out to see how much. Because with the new phones, like the different cameras, so the zoom, so you just got to test it.
Yep.
Have you seen I think it's Epic Mountain Gear. It's a different type of adapter.
I know what you're talking about.
So my phone has I have the phone magnet in the case, but Samsung, and so they have one that lets you switch lenses, and it's just as fast.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to change your phone case, which is my favorite thing about it. I hate having to put that all-in case. I've never had an all-in because I never wanted to change my phone case, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw that, anyhow,
not played with them, but I know 100%. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I've been a big fan of theirs. I don't have. This is a new phone. I don't have an adapter for it yet, but
it's just got the little mag ring that kind of sits inside the eyepiece instead of an exterior thing. Which I don't know. I kind of like the all-in eyepiece cap because my Swarovski factory lens cap always comes off in the pack, and that magnetic, it stays on there.
Yeah.
So I have a cap that goes over mine as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thinking about writing Swarovski a letter. Dear Swarovski, it's Dalton again.
We love your glass, but
please improve your cap system.
But your cap system,
yeah. I need to send that spotter in. I've just got the plain Jane HD 20-60 I went 80 when I bought mine. It's too big for most things, but it's saved me a lot of miles sheep hunting.
Yeah.
And I do agree with you. I don't need to carry it, but it's what I have, and it works fine.
We all start. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah. I started out with a couple of Leupold ones.
And how happy were you when you just had something that said Swarovski on it?
Oh, dude.
You probably walked around pretty proud for a while.
Yeah, and then I hid it when I came home from my wife. And we had just gotten married, and I was going out guiding for a long stint. And I said, if I'm going to be doing sheep guiding stuff, I need a real spotter.
Well, and it does make a huge difference, too.
Massive difference. Well, when I killed my only personal ram there several years ago now, but I was using a Leupold, 15 to 45 by 60 or 65.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works, but anything over real distance, and you just got to get closer.
Right.
That glass, it's expensive, but I've saved a lot of miles.
So nice.
A lot of miles with good glass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess the final rapid fire, I guess we'll circle around to what we were talking about with brown bears, and we'll just ask, right now, you're going sheep hunting, think of a spot in your head, traditional spot for you. Rifle choice, like cartridge
for sheep,
bullet, optic on top.
Yeah, it's my current sheep setup. So 7 PRC, got a 0 compromise on it. It's the XLR chassis.
Okay.
Because I've learned how to optimize and shoot a chassis.
Mm-hmm.
So that can go a long way. I've got an MDT level on it, on digital level. And that thing's a death ray. It's a killing machine. So, that's
what you used last year.
Yeah, I'm supremely confident with that system.
What bullet are you running with that?
The 175. What is it? ELD X.
Yeah. Are you hand loading those, or are you just shooting?
No,
they're
all hand loads. Come on now. No, they're all hand loads. And that was the first ram I took with that gun because I was shooting my 28 for years.
Yeah, I was going to ask what happened to the 28.
Still, I have nothing bad to say about that gun other than just, the barrels wear out too fast because of the things, what it is. But no, I have nothing bad to say about the 28, but that's 7. Just having the chassis, like having the Arca rail, that when you can run it on a really right stuff or on a different tripod and you really learn how to ring a chassis out.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, the stuff you can do with that. Like when, I know we're trying to wrap up, but when, fortunate enough to be able to go down to Hat Creek in Idaho and shoot.
Yeah.
And some of the guys that we get to shoot with down there, are at the highest level. And when you see them jump behind, their guns and how they manipulate tripods and everything, it's like, oh, wow. Like you can take this to a whole different level. So in that training, like that ram I shot last year, I probably wouldn't have been able to kill if I didn't utilize a tripod and just throwing that arc rail on there, running it up and just dead.
Yeah. What kind of tripod do you use sheep hunting these days?
Really right stuff. Yeah. So they make a smaller one that's not like one of their bigger ones. I don't know the model because the way that they model stuff's weird with letters and numbers.
Okay.
But it's just those are just so stable.
Yeah.
They're just unbelievably stable.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of really good things about them.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a good name, yeah.
What's that?
What's it weigh?
That one, I mean, that's one of those things where it's going to weigh a little bit more. Like, are there lighter ones out there? Sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you lock that thing, it's not moving.
Yeah.
It's a little heavier, but for what it is, it's. But I can run the spotter off of it and the gun and a camera. So like, it serves multiple purposes.
Yeah. Is it a ball head then?
Yes. Yeah. But I doesn't have the pan arm on it, so you're just rotating the head on it.
Right.
But those things are great.
Yeah. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else we should add here? I have no idea how much time we're at here, but I'm looking at my watch. We've been sitting here for a while.
We have been.
So
I don't think I have anything else.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
we could go on forever.
Yeah, I know. I mean, chapter 9, but the only thing I have to say is just with Alaska Blade Works, I want to make myself accessible to people that have questions. So shoot an email to matt@alaskabladeworks.com. And if you want to hop on the phone, I'd be happy to. Like, customer service is extremely important to us. I love talking hunting. So, I mean, I'll happily get on the phone if we want to talk through a blade or a hunt or something. Like, I'm easy to find.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, if you've enjoyed the Great Alaska Hunting Podcast, leave us a positive written review or a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening to us on. If you're on the YouTube, this is kind of a YouTube-centered episode, at least in the first 20, 30 minutes of it, with all the knives and the hatchet here, the fillet knives. You can watch that on our video option on YouTube. And so if you're there, like, subscribe, and comment. the classic YouTube line right there. But yeah, so for Alaska Blade Works, we'll put a link in the description of the podcast for the website, and maybe we'll throw your email in there too if you want to get a hold of Matt. And you guys can get a hold of one of these sweet blades, man. So yeah, thanks for coming on. We really appreciate you taking the time and coming up here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for running the blades in the field.
Oh yeah,
appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm going to add to my arsenal here as soon as we're done. So
perfect.
Just got a decision to make. So
nice.
I'm going to hem and haw on it. But yeah, well, until then, we'll see you next time, folks. Tread lightly, but don't tread well.